Short moments, a beautiful night here at Karns. We're broadcasting from the bleachers. Hope everybody will enjoy this ball game. The Wildcats trying to get back on the winning side of things. Oak Ridge currently in a pretty good position still in the region standings. The Wildcats with a victory tonight would probably, for the most part, wrap up the number 2 position and earn a home playoff ball game, but they have to win tonight. The Wildcats currently are tied for second place with the Karns Beavers. Both have 2-1 region records. Pala undefeated still in the region, with Campbell County right behind them with 2 losses. Clinton is 0-3, and so are the Lenoir City Panthers. James Branson, big ball game. The Wildcats trying to get on the winning side of things. They have struggled, obviously, offensively, trying to get their ship righted tonight. You've got the starting lineups and your thoughts on this big ball game.
Thank you, David. And the starting lineups, we'll start with offense tonight for the Wildcats. The offensive line is going to be led by left tackle Ethan Hewitt, left guard J.K. Morgan, center Walker Rice, right guard Zach Snyder, and right tackle Samuel Bentley. Your backfield will be Kendall Jackson at running back, as well as Jai Hunley. Your quarterback for the Wildcats will be number 8, Hayden Tarwater. Your tight end for the Wildcats will be Jacob Bervin, and your receivers for the Wildcats will be Brandon Hayward and Elijah Rogers. On defense for the Wildcats, they will have 3 defensive linemen. Those linemen are defensive end J.K. Morgan and Ethan Hewitt. Defensive tackle will be Zach Snyder. The outside linebackers will be Brian Kelly, Kendall Jackson, and Marcus Melton. Middle linebacker will be Jacob Bervin. The secondary for the Wildcats will include 2 safeties, Jaden Williams and Brandon Hayward, as well as 2 cornerbacks, Elijah Rogers and Justin Crowley. David?
Thanks a lot, James. We're just moments away from the kickoff of this game. Still waiting for both teams to make their ways from their respective dressing rooms. Wildcats went to Greenville last week. Enjoyed our trip up there with the exception of the football game. Obviously, the Wildcats, as Coach Gaddis and the guys know, these region ball games obviously much more important than the non-region ball games. Like I said, a victory tonight, the Wildcats could host a playoff game in the first round against a team from Lower East Tennessee. So you got 2 district games to go, plus the Dobbins-Bennett game sandwiched in between. This game and the Campbell County game, very crucial.
Yeah, and I think Coach Gaddis has spoken a lot about that district and this new formation of regions as really put the emphasis on region play as opposed to overall record. You know, in elsewhere across the state, especially like the lower levels, 1 and 2A, you've seen a lot of teams that maybe have no wins or 1 win or 2 wins get into the playoffs, and you know that's not where the Wildcats want to be. And by winning these 2 region games, and you know I think Dobbins-Bennett might have a little bit of a down year. I think you and I were talking last week, they lost 19 of 22 starters or something like that. So the Wildcats really do have a shot down the road here to get back to 500 and win all 3 of these last games.
It's a television ball game, so there'll be some extended timeouts here. One of the keys to the ball game, we talked with Coach Gaddis just a moment ago, is stopping Deshaun Bishop. Stopping him is probably not the best way to describe it. They need to slow him down considerably. He is averaging over 300 yards per game, and at one point, just 2 weeks ago, he was leading the nation in rushing. So he's obviously the guy to stop. Coach Miner and his defensive staff usually do a pretty good job and focusing on one guy and stopping the run, but this guy is a very special back.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a lot of speed and athleticism and agility, especially out in open space. But as you said, Coach Miner, I think, does a really good job of scheming, especially for you when you have 1 running back or maybe 1 receiver or something like that. And I don't really think Karns has much else other than him. I mean, obviously they're trying to open it up to pass and get him some more looks in different scenarios, but he is their main guy, and Coach Miner previously has done a great job, you know, the last couple of years of shutting him down as a sophomore and as a freshman, but obviously he's grown a lot more, and I expect the Oak Ridge defense to really step up tonight and have a really great game.
See, the Wildcats have made their way from Karns High School, and they're about to come onto the field. Gives me an opportunity to tell you that we are on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com, and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. We're live streaming the game on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff of tonight's game, Oak Ridge and Karns. The Wildcats trying to beat the Beavers for the 26th consecutive time. The Wildcats 32-1 all time against the Beavers. Beavers, but this is a Karns team that's already won 5 ball games. We'll see how it plays out tonight. We're going to send it back to Brian Bennett. We'll be back with the kickoff of tonight's game, Oak Ridge and Karns, following this 90-second timeout. I do. I printed you out one somewhere. I didn't give it to some bum on the yeah. On both sides.
Your captains for this game for Oak Ridge, number 1, Kendall Jackson, number 38, Jacob Burton, number 75, Walker Ross, and number 77, Ethan Hewitt. For Karns, number 35, Zach Hugh, number 50, Tim Robbins, and number 75, Drew McMillan.
David Clary back here along with James Branson. Our statisticians tonight will be Mark and Shauna Haste. Our camera personnel, we have Andy Hudson. We also have Neo Tate doing camera work. Matthew Charles down on the field along with Alex Baraxa and Christian Rosas Rodriguez. That's our camera personnel. And we're about to get set here. The captains out at the center of the field. The toss of the coin has been made, and now the Wildcat captains return to the left side where we're broadcasting from, and they'll get behind the Oak Ridge Wildcat sign, which is to our left, and they'll run it onto Karns Field here wearing their Cardinal pants, their white jerseys, Cardinal numerals, while the Karns Beavers will be wearing their all-blue jerseys, blue pants, and gold and white numerals. It's Oak Ridge and Karns for the 34th time since 1976. The Wildcats lead the all-time series 32-1. As I mentioned, the only loss coming in 1985. And that game was played at Old Karns Field, and hopefully we won't have James Branson a repeat of that game. It's such a huge, important ball game. Television timeout. That's why a little bit of a delay as I see a drone flying over the stadium. And here come the Beavers onto the field.
Yeah, I saw that a little bit earlier in pregame as well, trying to get some really unique shots as the Wildcats are about to run out onto Karns Field, as you said.
And the Wildcats getting set. They're poised behind the sign, which is to our left. Karns is coming out of a smoke-filled large helmet with a big gold beaver on it to our right. And here come the Wildcats on the Karns Field here. And you can hear the roar of the Oak Ridge crowd as the Wildcats try to beat the Beavers for the 26th consecutive time. But as I mentioned, it is going to be a tough assignment with Deshaun Bishop.
Yeah, Deshaun Bishop is going to be tough to stop tonight for the Wildcats. Obviously, he is Karns' main guy. You said how good he is, leading the nation at one point in rushing yards, and trying to hem him in and keep him, limit his explosive plays, I guess as you would say, would be key for the Wildcats tonight. And, I think you told me this as well, David. This is one of the teams that Oak Ridge has scored 60 on or more multiple times, and one of probably the biggest times that's happened, or most times that's happened in Oak Ridge history. And, the Wildcat fans would love to see that once again tonight.
Just a few years ago, I think it was 2013 or 14, Oak Ridge was up 56-0 at halftime.
Yeah, and a lot of really big plays in that. Obviously, we had a guy that I think is playing in the NFL right now that was, kind of important back then.
And, Oak Ridge's offense has struggled, so 56 points probably would be a stretch, but that's what Coach Gaddis and the offensive staff are hoping for tonight. The Wildcats will be kicking off here. As I mentioned, we are broadcasting from the visitor side in the stands. The Wildcats will be kicking from right to left if you're listening to us on the radio, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Channel 15. It'll be Oak Ridge's Gabe Weber to kick things off, and a onside kick specialist, but he also, in the junior varsity ball games, James has been able to hit the ball into the end zone or close to it.
Looks like the Wildcats are lined up for a pop-up kick right now, so bringing Gabe in to do this might be a little bit of a change-up for the Wildcats.
You know, last week the Wildcats didn't get the kickoffs in the end zone. I think the goal is to not kick the ball to Deshaun Bishop, and that's exactly what they did, but unfortunately they kick it out of bounds, and that is going to be a penalty, and they're going to get the ball first down, 10 yards to go. They'll start at the 35-yard line. It's Oak Ridge and Karns here. Seems like we've been at Karns here a lot. We were here last year as well, but it seems like we're always out here in the bleachers.
Yeah, I believe that we are. And, you know, one of probably the most memorable games for me, and I don't remember the exact year that it was, but I remember we came here on a Saturday, I think when Tennessee was playing Georgia, and I think one of our coaches on the staff at the time had a wedding and couldn't make it to that, and one of our defensive back coaches. And I think, the trainer, Brian Leffer, might have been on that team.
He was. It was James Mitchell who actually was getting married that particular night, I believe. And here come the Beavers here in a moment. They'll be moving from left to right. First down, 10 yards to go, just underway here at Karns High School. Kind of light clouds above us here. There's not a chance of rain. The one thing that I do remember most about being here last year is the heavy dew that we had to deal with as the Beavers come up. They'll come up with a full house backfield. The Wildcats once again will set the defense in a second. Quarterback direct snap, and he gets the run to up close to the 43-yard line. That is Deshaun Bishop moving the ball forward for a short gain of about 3 yards. It'll bring up second down and 7 yards to go. Jaden Williams there on the stop, amongst others for the Wildcats.
A little bit of a Wildcat formation there for Karns. David as just direct snap to him, trying to get him maybe out in space, see what, kind of test the waters a little bit with him. And, Jaden coming from his safety position really shows how hard he's coming downfield.
Good to see Lawrence Hahn, the first director of the Oak Ridge Boys Club, in attendance here right in front of us. Good to see him always as the Beavers have the ball. Second down, 7 yards to go. The clock did not start. It's still sitting at 12. And they'll have to adjust that. Obviously, this game is a televised ball game on WVLT. We encourage you, obviously, to listen to our broadcast. Turn down Mark Packer and listen to us.
Absolutely, and, I think we probably might give you a little bit better call anyway, David.
In terms of, for sure, an Oak Ridge call, for sure, as the clock is wound, and now they're going to stop it at about 11:43. And here in a minute, the Beavers will be back on offense. We'll try to check their numbers here in a second. We're a little shorthanded personnel-wise, so James is having to do not only the camera work and color, and he's also having to be my spotting because, my eyes are only 39 years old, but they're not as good as they used to be.
39? Your eyes are 39? Good gracious.
Yeah, my rest of my body's a little bit older than that. As eventually we'll have play once again as they're talking with the electric clock operator across the way. The clocks, and most people think the clocks are actually kept in the press box. They do that sometimes when they do malfunction, but usually there is an official that's got one of those little push button wireless things on the field, and hopefully that same official from Farragut won't have to do that tonight.
Let's hope not, David. That was pretty atrocious that night, but back here at Karns, good crowd on both sides, David, I think so far.
Second down, 7 yards to go. Once again, they'll come to the line. This time they've got a quarterback. They won't go with the direct snap. Bishop comes in motion. He gets the handoff. He's hitting the backfield, tries to turn the corner, and he is going to be driven down hard at around the 50-yard line. He's going to be right about 2 or 3 yards short of a first down. Came all the way from the far side of the field, got the handoff, got around. The Wildcats had somebody in the backfield, didn't aggressively go and knock him down, but the Wildcats did pursue him. He's still a yard short of a first.
A little bit of a jet motion there. I believe their quarterback for Karns right now is number 6. Trying to find him on a roster, and I can't right now. But he handed it off to Bishop on a fly motion. Great job of the Oak Ridge defense, though, pursuing him, basically forcing Deshaun Bishop all the way to the sideline, not letting him get upfield.
Ball is at the Karns 49-yard line. They need a yard for a first. Quarterback's going to run it himself, and he's going to get it and more. He's going to break into the secondary. He's going to take it all the way down the field. No, he's going to be tackled right at the 10-yard line. In that situation, you got to have somebody. Obviously, they're going to kind of looking for Bishop all the time. Nobody had the quarterback. He ran right up the middle, moved it all the way to the 10-yard line where it'll be first down and looks like goal to go.
A little bit of a zone read there, David, using Deshaun Bishop as a fake there, as a decoy, trying to midline read basically is what it is. And just if the defensive tackle comes upfield, then you keep it and just go right off of his cut, and the quarterback was able to do that for a lot of yards there.
First down goal to go at the 10-yard line. They're moving left to right, opening drive. Bishop gets the direct snap. He moves the ball forward for a gain of about 4. Moves the ball to the 6-yard line where it'll be second down, goal to go, 10:06 to play. One thing the Wildcats can ill afford to do, James, is get into a shootout. The Wildcat offense has struggled, with the exception of the Clinton and Lenoir City ball games, to score a lot of points. This Karns team can roll them up quickly. So plays like that, and we had big plays against us last week in the Greenville ball game. Have to avoid those if we can. We'll come back to that comment in a moment. Bishop splits off wide to the far left. They'll come up. Actually, he's in the backfield getting the direct snap, number 8. And he's going to get the snap, move to his left, cut right, goes to the end zone, takes it in for a touchdown. Just took it in around, it looks like Darren Osborne was the closest man to him, but they couldn't pull him down, and that is a touchdown with 9:34. So made it look easy. They walked down the field and score the first points of the ball game.
Yeah, the Karns Beavers are really just testing the middle of the Oak Ridge front there, as just about every play, but the second one, was a run toward the middle. So testing those interior linemen and linebackers are as Karns against Oak Ridge.
Kick is on its way. It's up, and it is good. 9:34 to play in the first quarter. Karns strikes first. They lead the Wildcats 7-0. We'll be back to Karns with the kickoff in 90 seconds. Welcome back once again to Karns High School. David Clary, James Branson. Karns scores quickly. The big play in the drive, obviously, was the quarterback just straight up the gut for about 40 yards or so, and that set up the touchdown.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like we said there, a zone read that put Karns inside the 10-yard line there, using Deshaun Bishop as a decoy, trying to go off of him, and I believe it was Lockhart. We were able to get the name correct. Lockhart carried it up the middle of the field, and luckily for the Wildcats, Elijah Rogers was right there to make the tackle down the field, but unable to come up with a stop there, and Karns goes up 7-0.
We're on FM 92.7, FM 94.7. You can also listen to our stream on prepradio.com or on Victory 92. They also are streaming the game on their official website. You can go to TuneIn Radio and listen to that, or just listen to us on Prep Radio. Beavers are going to be kicking from left to right here. Back to receive the kick short is DeJavis Dozier standing back at the 20-yard line along with Jaden Williams. So I would expect, by the way they're looking at it, perhaps a pop-up kick. Both teams have very explosive kick returners. Neither team wants to kick it to those guys.
Obviously, one of the things that you started to notice hopefully throughout the season is DeJavis Dozier is a really good kick returner. Letting him get to the sideline, you really want to prevent that if you're our opponents.
It's kind of a squib kick. It's going to take a weird bounce. It's going to be fielded by the Wildcats, and here they come. That's Jaden Williams. He's taking it down the field. He moves to the 30, to the 25, and he out of bounds he goes at the 20-yard line. That is Jai Hundley on the return. I saw the 7. He sprinted. They kicked it right to him. It was kind of a bouncing squib kick. He fielded high above his head, did Hundley, and returns it all the way to the 21-yard line of Karns.
Yeah, one of the things the Wildcats special team has done really well all year is when they've been pinned to the sideline, their blocks have been able to set them up and catch the defenders and basically force them inside, basically giving that whole sideline in between the numbers and the sideline to the returner. And, you know, we've seen that with DeJavis Dozier, and you obviously saw that with the explosiveness of Hundley right there.
Hayden Tarwater, the junior quarterback, with the lone running back behind him. First down 10. The handoff goes to Dozier. Dozier on the left side moves the ball across the 20 to the 15-yard line. Driven out of bounds at that point. Down to 9:16 and counting here in the first quarter. 7-0 Karns. On the first down play, the Wildcats pick up about 6 yards. It'll bring up second down and 4 yards facing the Wildcats deep in the Karns territory at their 15-yard line.
Yeah, David, and you like this response by the Wildcats, obviously not being shaken by the quick score, coming downfield, getting into basically Karns' red zone very quickly as well, and, you know, with a chance to score and tie up the game here.
Two backs in the backfield along with Tarwater, and Hayden's going to hand it off to his left side, and Dozier is going to squirt forward to the 10-yard line, shot out of a cannon, picks up what appears to be a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down. They didn't even get a chance to tell you who the receivers were. They were Elijah Rogers and Brandon Hayward, and Jai Hundley and Dozier were in the backfield.
You got those receivers and running backs out there, and you also have Peyton Sharp in at tight end now as Jacob Urban went on defense first.
They're trying to get Peyton a spot to play because to use his athleticism on offense. Here's the handoff to Hundley. He's got blockers in front. He turns the corner. 5-4. Give him 6 points. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. Jai Hundley scores. 8 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the first quarter, and it's 7-6 Karns, and onto the field will come Efrain Rodriguez to attempt the extra point. So just like that, just moments later, the Wildcats have nearly tied the ball game up.
Nearly tied it up, and I believe Mark just told us that 1 minute, 6 seconds came off the clock on that drive for the Wildcats, so we actually scored a little bit faster than Karns did there.
Low snap, kick is on its way by Efrain. It's up. And it is good. 7-7 our score. 8 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the first quarter. And we'll be back to Karns High School following this 60-second timeout.
Kicking off for Oak Ridge, number 82, Gabe Weber. Lead for Karns at the range, Sean Bishop.
Getting close, Welcome back once again to Karns High School. Gabe Weber to kick off once again. High pop-up kick, very short. Fair catch is signaled for and made. And it's going to be right around the 43-yard line. I think they probably want Gabe to kick it a little bit farther down the field there. It's great field position for the Beavers.
Great field position for the Beavers, you know, and obviously had the receiver there, I believe it was number 15. I'm not sure of his name right off the top of my head, but number 15 for them called for a fair catch. Had he not done that, one of the Wildcat gunners basically could have gone and lit him up and recovered the ball themselves.
One thing, it was a really high kick by Gabe, just didn't go too far down the field. Good to see the sophomore getting a chance to kick off here. And now the Beaver offense is on the field once again. They'll start this drive right at the 43-yard line. Man comes in motion. That's the Bishop. Here's the quarterback running again. This time he is tripped up by the Wildcats. Tripped up. I'm trying to look at that number. He moves the ball. It's going to be Jaden Williams, I believe, who trips him up once again. It'll be a second down and about 8 yards to go. The ball is at the 46-yard line of Karns. They're moving left to right as we broadcast from the bleachers. It seems darker than it normally has been here before.
Yeah, it's not the best point of view that we get to broadcast from, but, this is what happens when you get it stuck out here when Packer comes into town.
Exactly. It's hard to read the roster, to be honest with you. It'll be second down and 7 yards to go. Actually, yeah, 7 yards to go from the 46-yard line of Karns. Direct snap to Bishop once again, and he's moving the ball forward. There's a flag down on the play. Somebody ripped off one of the Wildcats' helmets. Jacob Irvin got his helmet just ripped off of him, and they're going to call a penalty, I think, against Karns. Just a direct snap to Bishop. Coach Gaddis told me, don't be surprised if he carries the ball 35 to 40 to 45 times a ball game. Holding against Karns is the call.
Yeah, it's not going to be surprising. He's obviously their workhorse, and a lot was made of him being the leading rusher in the nation at one point in time. But as he was doing that, he had more carries than any of the other leading rushers that were in that category. Several from Florida, I think 1 or 2 from Georgia, 1 from California. So, but he had more carries and less yards per average, or yards per carry than any of those other guys as well.
Andy Hudson has arrived here. Good to see Andy here. It'll be for the Beavers after the holding penalty. Second down, 16 yards to go. Ball is at looks like the 37-yard line. Karns moving left to right. Bishop in the backfield. They're going to snap it directly back to him. He runs to his left, tries to get outside, and Wildcats are going to drive him out of bounds at around the 45-yard line, where it'll be for the Beavers. Third down, I think. Third down and about, let's say, 11 yards to go for a first. 7:05 to play. We're in the first quarter of a 7-7 ball game. The ball is at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, on that play, a lot of people might be upset, David, that they put 2 men in motion. That is okay as long as you are not snapping it while they're in motion. The running back that switched to the other side of Deshaun Bishop on that play stopped, and number 15 for them, who ended up being the lead blocker for Deshaun, was Desmond Lockett. He continued in that jet motion.
Officially, it is at the 41-yard line of Karns. They split out 3 receivers to the right. They've got their quarterback in now. He's going to drop back to pass, feeling pressure across the way. Intercepted Oak Ridge. Justin Crowley picks it off for the Wildcats. Terribly thrown pass, picked off and returned to the Karns 45-yard line, and that's where Oak Ridge will take over. First down, 10 yards to go.
Yeah, David, Justin there on that play was basically playing, looked like quarters coverage, just playing deep, and really just a badly thrown ball by Huffaker. Huffaker just sailed it on his receiver as Justin was just standing right there, didn't really have to do anything. Johnny on the spot really didn't get much of a turn out of it, but the consistency at quarterback, you've had Deshaun Bishop, you've had Locker, and now you've had Huffaker. Not really good for Karns so far.
First down, 10 yards to go. Hayden Tarwater fires a pass complete across the 40-yard line, up the field to the 35, to the 30. Pushed out of bounds officially right at the 30-yard line. That is a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. First down, the Wildcats. Hayden Tarwater completes the first pass of the night.
A little bit of a short screen pass out to Elijah Rogers there as he was just able to get to the corner, and that's one of the things that the Wildcats were able to do a lot last week with Elijah. You'd like to see maybe a fake to Elijah and set up Brandon Hayward on a long route if possible.
6:50 to play first quarter, 7-7 our score, the Wildcats and Beavers. Brandon Hayward, Elijah Rogers splitting out to the far left, along with looks like Price Davis. The Wildcat handoff straight up the gut, nothing. Nothing at all. In fact, they're going to lose a yard. No running room at all there for Kendall Jackson.
No, not a lot of running room. Just a little bit of a read there by Hayden Tarwater, and it was either a handoff to Kendall or a keep on that zone read there, and the handoff went right up the middle. Lost a few yards here. So Wildcats, one of the things that has happened throughout the season is getting behind the sticks. They got to pick up probably about 5 to 6 yards here to stay ahead of the sticks and put themselves in a good third down position.
From the Beavers' 31-yard line, second down, 11 yards to go. The Wildcats and Beavers tied at 7. Shotgun once again for Tarwater. He's going to roll to his right, look to pass. In trouble, looks, might run it. Fires the pass, caught right at the 19-yard line, and that is going to be enough for a 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down.
really nice move there by Hayden Tarwater to spin out of the tackle basically and get to the edge, but there is a flag on the play and it is going to be ineligible receiver downfield. So obviously one of the linemen was a little bit too far down the field there, and really well designed play there by Coach Hodge, as basically the Hayden Tarwater reversed out and faked a handoff to Kendall Jackson and then rolled out to his left trying to get upfield and make a nice play. Just unfortunate that the Wildcats had a man downfield.
So they walk the penalty yardage back to the 36-yard line, where it'll be for Oak Ridge now. Second down and looks like about 16 yards to go for a first. 6 minutes to play. Clock is moving here in the first quarter in a 7-7 ball game. Wildcats with Kendall Jackson, the lone running back. The Wildcats have Hayden Tarwater, quarterback. Hayden's going to pass. Rolls again to his right. Looks in the end zone. Wide open. There's the man. Hayward's got it. He's got a touchdown for the Wildcats. Wide open. Brandon Hayward, touchdown, Oak Ridge.
David, as South Doyle understood, you cannot leave Brandon Hayward in single coverage, man-on-man coverage. He's going to burn you every time, just like he burned the Karns corner right there. Got behind him on a little bit of a skinny corner route. Hayden did a great job rolling out, and as soon as he saw that Brandon was open, launched it in the air, put him right on him right at the goal line. Great play by the Wildcats, and they take the lead.
Efren Rodriguez, the extra point attempt is on its way. It's up, and it's good. 14-7 Oak Ridge. 5 minutes, 41 seconds to play in the first quarter. We'll be back with a Wildcat kickoff in 90 seconds.
Pizza House for supply of pizzas and press box. You may want to go after the game tonight.
No, go right ahead.
Pretty passes I've seen.
Kicking off for Oak Ridge, number 15, David Wilson. Dean from Karns, number 8, Sean Bishop.
Pop-up kick here once again by Weber. It's going to be caught at around the 33-yard line by Lockhart, and that will be where Karns takes over. First down, 10 yards to go. So a deeper kick that time by the Wildcats. Oak Ridge, really impressive drive. It was a short drive after the interception by Crowley. The Wildcats made quick work of them. They overcome a lost yardage play and a penalty to score the touchdown.
Yeah, the Wildcats on that special teams play there made a change at kicker position. David Wilson was actually the kicker on there, so probably a little bit different reason for the deeper kick and a little bit higher kick maybe. They went down to about the 32-yard line.
14-7 Oak Ridge. Here come the Beavers once again back on offense. 5:41 to play. Here comes Bishop trying to ruin the ball, and he does for a gain of about 3. He's tackled it right at the 36-yard line. What I remember most about him, and we've watched him, and I told Coach Gaddis on the show Wednesday, it seems like he's played for 10 years, but he's going to break a couple good long runs in this game. He has done it against good defenses. Oak Ridge has a really good defense. He's averaging about 300 yards. You just got to kind of contain him, try to keep him from not just getting a lot of those big plays.
Yeah, and a lot of those go to the outside, so it's interesting that Karns hasn't tested the Wildcats outside yet, but because they've all been up the middle so far.
It'll be second down and 7 yards to go, and here's a little quick pass to him. The pass is going to be caught, and they're going to drop him right at the line of scrimmage. Well played by Oak Ridge's Jaden Williams along with Jai Hunley. Around the play as well was Jacob Irvin. It'll bring up third down facing the Beavers.
You know, David, as soon as I say that, they prove me wrong. They throw a little screen route, motion Bishop out of the backfield and throw a little screen route out here to him, try to get him out in open space. You know, luckily for the Wildcats, they were able to defeat some of the blocks of the receivers. And I'll be honest, I don't think the Beaver receivers tried to block very intensely on that play for Deshaun, and I believe he only got a yard.
4.5 minutes to play first quarter. We've already seen 3 touchdowns scored. The Wildcats on top, 14-7. It's third down, 7 yards to go for Karns. Our quarterback rolls to his left, might run, looks to pass, fires a pass, incomplete. A worm burner in the turf here at Karns High School. It'll be fourth down, and the punt team will come onto the field for Karns.
You know, Karns' offense is kind of puzzling, if you ask me, David, just because, you know, Huffaker was the quarterback that threw the interception. He came back in there. What Karns had success with on their first drive was, I believe, Lockhart, number 6 for them, and Bishop in the backfield. I don't know if either one can throw it or throw it very well, but I think I would just keep those two back there in the backfield if I were Karns. But, you know, luckily for the Wildcats, it's going to be a punt here on fourth down, and we're going to get the ball back, hopefully in really good field position.
Brandon Hayward standing back at around the 35-yard line. The Beavers punting from left to right, trailing 14-7. Good snap, some pressure, low bouncing kick, not great. Hayward picks it up on a dead run and moves the ball forward for a gain on the return of about 2 or 3 yards before he is dropped right around the 39-yard line of the Wildcats. And back out on the field will come Oak Ridge. One of the things that happened last week, which was a positive for Oak Ridge, something that they had been struggling with, the Wildcats had no turnovers last week, no penalties in that ball game, and that's, especially on the offensive side, that's what they're striving to get better and trying to execute just a little bit better. No turnovers, no interceptions in crucial times, and no fumbles.
Yeah, and those things can really set you back. But one of the things I've already noticed about Oak Ridge tonight so far is they're really rotating their running backs really well, which they didn't do as much last week.
First down, 10 yards to go. Oak Ridge, the ball officially at the 38. Handoff goes to the running back, and there was a little, maybe a strange exchange there. It goes to Dozier. He's able to get across the 40. I think officially he's going to go down right around the 43-yard line. It's a gain on the play of maybe a half a yard or so, not much more than that. Officially, the ball is going to be no gain. I was looking at the scoreboard and not where the ball was placed on the field. The scoreboard is wrong. My apologies. Second down, 10 yards to go. Tarwater with Dozier in the backfield, 3 receivers to his left. The Wildcats have a tight end, quick pass to Hundley. Hundley along the Oak Ridge sideline, driven out of bounds. Very short gain. It's getting of about maybe 3 yards or so. It'll bring up third down and about 7 yards to go for the Wildcats.
A little bit of a difficult situation offensively there for the Wildcats. They had 3 receivers, including Hundley, Rogers, and Hayward, all to the short side of the field, the Oak Ridge side of the field, and trying to get a quick screen and a block upfield for Hundley. I think maybe want to test the waters on the wide side of the field, see if you can get a little bit of our speed out in the open.
Ball's at the Oak Ridge 41-yard line, 3:22 to play, 14-7. Wildcats Tarwater to pass, quick pass. He's open, makes the reception for a Tim Bank of Oak Ridge first down. He busts across the 40, down to the 38-yard line. It'll be Rogers there for the reception. A 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Really nice job on basically a quick out route from Hayden Tarwater. Hayden got the ball out really quick to Elijah Rogers as he's going to come out. Had a really good game so far, and in comes Andrew Ferreira, really speedy receiver for the Wildcats with good hands. One thing to notice is the Wildcats are going a little bit faster pace this week than they did last week against Greenville.
Tarwater once again with 3 receivers to his left. First down, 10 yards to go. He's going to pass again. This one across the middle to Hundley. Hundley makes the reception down to the Karns 30-yard line. You look across the field there, and it's maybe the best attended Karns game I've ever seen, at least in a while. The Knoxville News Sentinel picked them to beat Oak Ridge 35-14. I think the Karns fans wanted to come and see it for the first time in 25 years. The Wildcats showing they're a little bit better than that, I think, or here at least early in the game.
I think a lot of people are discounting Oak Ridge's defense, David.
Second down, 2 yards to go. You look at records, and here's a handoff to Dozier. That is going to be about a yard gain on the play, not much more than that. It'll bring up third down and 2. Dozier trying to work off the block of Ethan Hewitt. Why don't we check that offensive line again for the Wildcats? Of course, Walker Rice, he's the center, had the injury last year, had to sit out most of the year. They're going to say that is enough for a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the offensive line for the Wildcats is Walker Rice, obviously, as you mentioned, Ethan Hewitt, J.K. Morgan, Zach Snyder, Truett Tex is in right now for the Wildcats, and Sam Bentley.
And the tight end is Peyton Sharp. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 29-yard line of the Beavers. Tarwater, quick pass, caught. Moving the ball up the field for 5 yards, 6 yards. That'll be Andrew Ferreira making the catch right at around the 20-yard line. The Wildcats continuing to move the chains. This is going to be a fine gain. It's a gain of about 8 on the play. Second down, 2 yards to go. We're down to a minute 14 to play here in the first quarter. The Wildcats with Ferreira and Hayward splitting out to the far left along with one other Wildcats, Xavier James. The Wildcats with Dozier in the backfield. Hayden Tarwater is the quarterback. Second down, 2 yards to go. The Wildcats in the lead, 14-7, knocking on the door once again. Tarwater, end zone. Hayward, there he is. Can't make the catch. A little bit too high. Pass interference against your Karns Beavers.
Yeah, David, and the Wildcats throw it. Their linemen too. Not sure if that's just for run plays or pass plays just yet, but it's really working so far for the Wildcats.
First down, 10 yards to go after the penalty yardage. The ball moves up to the Karns 11-yard line, 49 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Chad Hodge signals in the play from the Oak Ridge sideline. He is the offensive coordinator. The Wildcats with Tarwater at quarterback. James is in the backfield with him. Wildcats have the receivers on the short side of the field once again. Handoff goes to James. James moves the ball for about a yard. After the initial run early on, getting some yardage up the middle, the running backs have not gotten a whole lot straight up the gut.
They haven't been able to, and one of the looks that you continue to see from the Wildcats is a little bit of a triple option. The other running back that's not getting the ball is kind of motioning in the backfield. I would like to see Hayden Tarwater keep it one time just to get out in open space and either to Hunley or Dozier or whoever happens to be the running back, see what that would look like.
Justin Crowley is in at receiver now. He splits to the left side. Here comes the pass. Is caught by Crowley. Crowley 5-4. Touchdown! Justin Crowley. 3 more touchdowns for the Wildcats, but there is a flag. We might have a hold on the edge. We'll check the call. Really nice pass, though. And Crowley, nice catch. Really untouched into the end zone. We'll have to check it. It's going to be holding, though, against the Wildcats. The Knoxville officials strike again.
Yeah, David, and I think on that play they might have called Elijah Rogers for a hold. I don't understand why or how, only because Elijah was basically blocking his man straight downfield. Really, the guy that Elijah was blocking didn't even have a chance at getting it, not because Elijah was holding, but he did a good job of running his feet and getting the guy away from Justin. Justin really showing you his explosiveness there on that play.
The Wildcats will have it as they walk the ball back to the 18-yard line. 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. Look at Andy Hudson over here doing camera work for us. Down on the field, we have Neote, we have Matthew Charles, we have Christian Rosas Rodriguez, and Alex Boraxa. The Wildcats have it second down. And here's a handoff to Dozier. Dozier tries to cut inside. Not much there. It'll be third down and long facing the Wildcats.
Yeah, and that's going to bring us to the end of the quarter here, David, as the Wildcats are going to lead 14-7. We're going to be back after this 2-minute timeout.
Pepperidge Plumbing, Ebertine Orthodontics, Bojangles and Karns, and Rusty Cross. Also thanks to Regional Officers of Line, which seems to be in Chris Box tonight.
Wide open once again, and the Wildcats have 20 on the board.
Absolutely, David. Brandon Hayward, basically, the Karns Beavers were in off coverage. They were playing off of Brandon Hayward, so they didn't get beat, and Brandon ended up beating them anyway. Looked a lot like the old T. Higgins play, just throw it up and let Brandon go get it. And the safety, who was lockered on that play, just wasn't able to get there as well. So they had two guys assigned. Either one were able to cover him well.
20-7 Oak Ridge. It'll be Hayden Tarwater to hold. Riley Hudson, he'll be the snapper. The kicker is Efren Rodriguez. 11:55 to play first half, 20-7 Oak Ridge. Wildcats putting up big numbers here. Field position has been a crucial part of it, but as I was just having a conversation over here, Karns hasn't figured out a way to slow down Oak Ridge yet. Even on a 3rd and 17, the Wildcats score a touchdown. Rodriguez to attempt. Ball's down, the kick is drilled. Up there, it's up, and it is good. 21-7 Wildcats. We'll be back with an Oak Ridge kickoff in 60 seconds.
Way to go, Price!
Well, your commercial just ran, so we could have had you on at the same time. I thought we'd win like 45. Yeah, we scored 60 on them 5 different times. Right? Last year we scored 56. Remember the over, first down and 10 yards to go. So far, so good for the Wildcat offense. Oak Ridge, and one thing that Mike pointed out just a moment ago, and you're playing Karns, but obviously the offensive line giving Hayden a lot of time, and they're giving an opportunity for the running backs to run, maybe not so much up the middle so much, but the ability to throw the ball, Hayden's been right spot on.
Hayden's been spot on, and when he's felt a rush or a blitz, he's been able to spin out of it or get the ball quickly out to one of his receivers, and I believe that puts him over maybe 120 yards already on the night.
11:48 to play first half. Karns. Here comes Bishop trying to get outside, cuts back inside. He's going down. He goes down right at the 32-yard line. One thing, the Sentinel picking Karns to win 35-14. Yeah, Karns has won 5 ball games, and their record is much better than ours. But the difference is, as I mentioned about the schedule, is they don't take into account the schedule, obviously, and how good, as you said, is Coach Miner's defense and those guys that are playing hard and giving their effort every single week.
You're absolutely right. Just by looking at records, you can't tell who's had a better year, who's had a better team, just because, Oak Ridge, like Mike was saying earlier, played much, much better teams, I believe, than Karns has.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Here comes, once again, a nice handoff. Bishop moves the ball across the 35-yard line up to the 36. It'll be third down facing. He is quick. Jacob Irvin there on the stop. Let's check some of the defenders for the Wildcats. Wildcats have great field position. The Wildcats have seen, actually, well, they are going to go for it, it would appear.
It's going to be a direct snap to Bishop at least to start.
Fourth down, yard to go. He tries to get outside, and he does have the first down and more. And he breaks into the secondary down to the 40-yard line. That's if you got a guy like that, you might as well use him, and they do pick up a first down. But if they had not gotten it, it could have been disastrous for the Beavers, but they do pick up a first down.
Well, and one of the things that Karns is kind of shooting themselves on the foot with is the fact that I believe that's the only carry he's had. He's had 2 carries that have gone toward the outside. The first carry of the game that he got, and then that carry. I'm not exactly sure why you don't use his speed to the outside. He's got very elite speed, I believe, but they keep running him up the middle. That's Karns' fault that they keep running him up the middle.
Officially, the ball is at the Oak Ridge 38-yard line, 21-7 Oak Ridge, 9:07 to play, first half. Karns, quarterback. There's movement across the line by the Beavers. That's going to cost them 5.
It was just a false start. I believe they're just trying to get a head start on Hewitt, who was on that end of the field there, trying to get him blocked. But, you can't start early there, and it puts Karns in a very disadvantageous position because they're going to be backed up. It's going to be 1st and 15, and their offense, unless you're just going to hand it off to Bishop and try to get him outside, is not built to come from these type of deficits.
It'll be for them, first down 15. Good turnout of Oak Ridge fans. Of course, we're in fall break here, so the band's not here, but there's still a good turnout of fans here who made the short trip from Karns. First down, 15 yards to go. Ball is at the 43-yard line. They're moving right to left are the Beavers. Quarterback's rolling to his right. Tries to get out the outside, and Bourbon just plasters him into the turf at around the 36-yard line. Got him airborne and dropped him down to the turf. It's really, really fun-looking tackle by Jacob Irvin.
Yeah, Jacob Irvin had just outside pursuit and contain there on Lockhart, who is, like we've said, the third guy that they've used to snap the ball to. They've used Bishop, they've used Lockhart, and they used Huffaker, who is, I guess, their passing quarterback. The other two, I guess, mainly run in Bishop and Lockhart.
Gain of 5 on the play. Second down, 10 yards to go. 8-10 to play first half. 21-7 Oak Ridge. Once again, They have receivers left and right. Bishop comes in motion. Quarterback's going to roll to his right, run it again, and he is going to move the ball forward to the 31-yard line. That's Lockhart once again, and it'll be Hewitt there on the stop along with one other Wildcat. It'll bring up third down and about 4 or 5 yards to go for a first. Actually, they're going to spot a little farther back here. It's going to be third down, and we'll call it 4 yards to go.
Yeah, I believe that was Kelly there coming in pursuit along with Jacob Bervin there. And, Lockhart is doing a really good job of getting to the edge on the zone read. They motioned Deshaun Bishop on the zone read there and kind of fake it to him and use Lockhart on the other side.
4 down territory for the Beavers. The ball's at the 32-yard line. Third down, 4 yards to go. 21-7, Oak Ridge. Bishop direct snap, runs the ball, moves the ball forward, and is going to be right at the sticks, and I believe it's going to be close enough for a first down. In fact, where they've spotted it is indeed going to be a first down for Karns. He's a talent, but man, that guy has got to be tired after the ball games. Coach Gaddis said he could get 35 to 40 carries a ball game, and maybe even more than that.
That's just crazy that he's getting that many carries, but he, like you said, is a talent. I just don't think they're using his speed very well as they keep running him up the middle. We have Darren Osborne coming off the field, and I believe that's Tyrese Allman going in at defensive end.
It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Beavers. 6:47 to play first half. 21-7 Wildcats. Bishop in the shotgun is going to get the direct snap. Cut to his right, cut back inside, and Bervin grabs him, and he's pushed back by a couple other Wildcats. Bervin slowed him up, and then a couple other Wildcats make the stop there. It's going to be a good gain on the play, though, of about 5 yards, but I thought initially he might get more than that once he got past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's most impressive about Bishop is he's pretty patient in the hole. On that play, he kind of stood there in the hole, juked a couple people, and was able to get up 5 yards, so pretty impressive by him to do that. One thing that the Wildcats do defensively is they have right now just about all of their defenders at or near the line of scrimmage.
Second down, 5 yards to go. Once again, Bishop's going to roll to his left, this time up the field, and going to be tackled at around the 18-yard line. Stop is made by Brian Kelly for the Wildcats. And stop is made right around the 17-yard line. It is going to be enough for a first down. They don't even look at it. It was enough by about a half a yard or so. They just signal, move the chains. Clock is moving. That's one thing. They have kept the ball on the ground, and they are eating clock, and I think that's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well. You're down by 2 scores. You've got 2 pretty good running backs or people that can run the ball in the backfield, and if Karns wants to cut this lead in half here and get it to a 7-point game, then they're going to have to continue to run the ball and eliminate the Oak Ridge's offense being on the field.
Wildcat defense needs to bow up here. The ball's at the Wildcat 17. They'll come with a quarterback this time. Bishop comes in motion. Bishop gets the handoff, trying to get wide, and he is going nowhere but planted on his backside back at the 21-yard line. Nice play by
Brandon Hayward.
And it'll be a loss of about, we'll call it 3 yards in the play. He picked him up and drove him down on the Pilot logo.
Yeah, it was a really nice play there by Brandon, who was coming from his safety position, defeated a block, took on a block, and ended up putting Deshaun Bishop on his back there, lifting him off the ground, as you said. Great play by Brandon, and hopefully the Wildcats can get another stop and push them back even further.
On the 20-yard line of the Wildcats, second down, 13 yards to go for them. This time Bishop's going to drift off as a receiver to the right, come in motion back to his left. Quarterback's going to run it, and he's going to turn the ball up the field and go down after a gain of only about 2. It's going to be third and long facing Karns with 4 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the first half, with the Wildcats on top 21-7.
One of the things that the Wildcats are doing is they're putting a man on Bishop, and I believe that's Kendall Jackson, who has kind of been trailing him when he's gone in motion, and that's good to account for Bishop. But one of the things the Wildcats are going to have to continue to account for is Lockhart out of the backfield. They just keep pulling the ball with Lockhart and going to that side that they are motioning from.
Officially, it's third down, 11 yards to go. The ball is at the 18-yard line of the Wildcats. Bishop's going to drift off to the right once again, along with number 2. They've got number 15. They got 3 guys on the right side, 2 on the left. Quarterback from the shotgun. Bishop comes in motion. He's going to roll to his right, cut it up the field, and he's going to be tackled. He's going to be short once again. They've got to do a better job of watching him, because he's gotten some really good yards. It's going to be fourth down facing the Beavers. It's a good gain on the play, but it's still going to be fourth and long, fourth and about 6.
as you said, David, the Wildcats are going to have to account for him. When they motion Bishop, we have a guy assigned to him, and I believe that Locker's going to have to come out of the game right now.
Timeout.
I'm sorry, 60-second timeout is what it's called. We will take that timeout with them.
21-7 our score, back, as James said, in 60 seconds.
He's ready. He's prepared.
No, the shot.
David Clary back here along with James Branson, Mark and Shauna Hayes, and Mike Sheehan. They'll be part of our Fox Insurance Group halftime show. We'll have the scoring summary and the statistics. The Oak Ridge Band is not here. What a great show the band has had all season long this year. They have been really a joy to listen to.
Really a joy to listen to, and they've brought a lot of different things in. They obviously in previous years have done a lot. I think they've done the Beatles one year, and they've done different types of groups, but they're starting to incorporate a little bit more of the tracks into that to allow fans to identify that particular song, and then they kind of do their own thing with that.
Next week the Wildcats, one of their other big rivals, coming to town for a 7:30 ball game. The rest of the home games, the Campbell County game and next week's game, the Dobbins Bennett Indians, always a fan favorite.
One of my favorite games for sure. Just the tradition that we have with them, the back and forth that we have with them. When we were both in 5A at one point in time, or I think even in 3A, whoever would win the regular season game oftentimes would lose the playoff game, and it was very hard and very competitive games throughout the series.
Let's see what the Beavers can do here. It's 4th down and 6, 3:19 to play. They've got the ball right at the 13-yard line. Bishop's in the backfield now, and he's going to drift off to the left of their quarterback. The snap goes to the quarterback. It's going to be an end around to the left side. Nobody there, nobody at home. Touchdown, Karns. What a play. What a play by the Karns Beavers. Couple of handoffs there, and they just hand it off, and the Wildcats bid on it, went inside, and that's a 6 points. Really nice-looking play by Karns.
Yeah, and that was Gavin Duke on the touchdown for the Beavers. Basically, everybody's going to key on Deshaun Bishop, and we really have all night long because he's their guy. Huffaker there, it was in at quarterback, handed it off to Bishop. Bishop just did a little toss out of the backfield, just a little reverse, and, Wildcats got caught off guard there, and well-designed play, as you said.
They'll go for the extra point, 21-13 our score, 3:11 to play in the first half. Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and the kick, it is good. 21-14, the Wildcats in the lead. We'll take a break. We'll send it back to Brian Bennett at FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com. We'll be back with a kickoff in 60 seconds.
Kicking off for Karns, number 38, Blake Wilson. Deep for increase number 7, Jai Huntley and the Jarvis Dozier.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. The Karns Beaver fans and their band back into the game. 21-14, a very impressive drive, time-consuming drive, and they're getting ready to kick off to Dozier and the Wildcats. Here it is. It's a squib kick bouncing once again, fielded and fumbled, picked up. The Wildcats have to fall on it. Wildcats fall on it back here at the 25-yard line. Just kind of bounced around just a bit, and I think DeJarvis did a pretty good job. He thought about picking it up, but it's just better to save possession, especially so deep. Falls on it at the 26-yard line.
Yeah, you can't blame DeJarvis there for falling on it because it was a very slow squib kick that kept bounding end over end. A couple of other Wildcats thought about fielding it and kind of looked at it as it was going, but DeJarvis made a good decision there, been falling on it because the Karns defenders were coming at him pretty quickly.
I don't want to jinx the Wildcats, but Oak Ridge has had some trouble closing out halves here. We don't need any turnovers right here. Let's see what the offense can do here. I would expect them to maybe be a little bit conservative with three receivers split to the left side. Tarwater, first down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 26-yard line of Oak Ridge in a 21-14 ball game. And here comes Hayden, and flags went down quickly on the play.
Looks like it could be a delay game as the play clock looked like it was at 0 here and has since been reset to 25 seconds. But it looks like it will be a penalty on the Wildcats as they are starting to back up. It is going to be a false start on the Wildcats. One thing that the Wildcats are doing really well is rotating some of their key guys in, getting other guys breaks. I see Marcus Melton has come in at tight end to kind of relieve either Jacob Burvin or Peyton Sharp, who's been in.
Hayward's back in the ball game. Crowley is going to exit here. It's first down, 15 yards to go. Now the Wildcats back at the 21-yard line. Can't have any mistakes here. There's movement across, and we're going to get 5 yards back from the Beavers. So Hayden Tarwater, he's done a really good job using that cadence this year. He's done it several times. So the 5 that we gave them, they give us 5 yards back, and we're right back where we started.
You're absolutely right, and it's just a freeze count or a silent count that they go on, and I think Hayden several times throughout the year has done a little bit of a clap to kind of draw people off sides. So Wildcats back in 1st and 10 scenario here, which is very beneficial for them.
3:05 to play in the first half. The Wildcats will have Hundley and Hayward to the short side of the field here, which is the near side, the Oak Ridge sideline. One lone man to the far left. I believe that's Rogers. Tarwater is the quarterback. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to go deep. There's the man. He's open. The pass is there. He can't make the catch. Pass interference again. Not a spot foul like you see in the NFL. Rogers just a little bit bigger than that defensive back, and there's a flag at the line of scrimmage. That doesn't surprise me. That came late, honestly. It's really kind of in the area of holding, and we'll have to see. It'll be offsetting for whatever reasons. I didn't see the whole. Coach Gaddis is not happy. Comes over to talk to the official, and it is going to be what? Official goes to the Karns side. He kind of struts out there. Ineligible receiver downfield against the Wildcats. Pass interference against the Beavers. They offset. So once again, we'll have it at the 26. First down, 10 yards to go.
Yeah, David, third consecutive first down here for the Wildcats, and really the ball hasn't moved. Elijah Rogers did a really nice job on that pass play to adjusting, just not able to come up with it.
First and 10 at the 26-yard line. Backfield split now. Tarwater, quick pass, bullet pass is caught, breaking a tackle. He's at the 30. He's at the 35-yard line. It'll be Brendan Hayward on the reception. It'll bring up second down at about 2:47 to play. The Wildcats in the 2-minute drill here.
The Wildcats in a 2-minute drill, and Brendan Hayward there was just getting a quick pass. He waved over to Hayden, knowing that he was in man coverage with bracket coverage or a safety over top to help. And Hayden did a really nice job of getting it out to him.
2.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Second down, a yard to go for Oak Ridge. The Wildcats, 2 receivers to the right once again. Small little cornerbacks. Here comes the handoff to Dozier. He is popped right at the line of scrimmage. I'm telling you, since the first quarter, they haven't gotten anything up the middle there. Passing, I think they can pass all day against these guys.
I think they can pass as well all day against these guys, but I think if you cannot continue to hand off and fake the triple option look or the speed option look off that handoff, the Wildcats at one point are going to have to keep that with Hayden Tarwater and see if they can get it out to one of their quick running backs.
Wildcats going quick here. Third down and a yard to go still. Dozier's in the backfield for Tarwater. Tried to get him to jump off that time. They didn't bite. Tarwater will roll, fire a pass. Pass is complete for a first down. Down the sideline, across the 40-yard line, ran over a Beaver. and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
That was Jai Hunley there on that play. Just a little quick screen route. Great blocking there by Brandon Hayward to help him pick up that first down to the short side of the field over toward the Karns sideline. And as you said, got out of bounds, so the clock stops, which is good for the Wildcats.
Ball's at the Oak Ridge 42-yard line. They're moving left to right here. 1st and 10, Oak Ridge. That was a 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down, of course. 3 receivers split to the right. There's Hayward. Look at the little guy trying to cover him. That's like Andy trying to cover him. Here's a pass caught by Hunley. Stiff arms his way across the 45 up to the 46-yard line. It'll be a gain on the play, but there's only 92 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, and one of the things you'd like to see the Wildcats do is take a shot deep here with Brandon Hayward, especially the little guy that you said. It was man coverage across the board, and there was no really safety help from what I saw. And so Wildcats would hope would take a shot here, especially with almost under a minute left.
Second down, a long 5 to go for a first. A minute 13 and counting here in the first half, 21-14. Hayward all day to pass. Now it's breaking down. Probably should have already thrown it, and he's going to be sacked. Got to make a quicker decision that time. He looked down the field. At that point, you either just got to heave it down the field there. You just cannot take a sack right there.
Can't take a sack, and but credit Hayden for one thing. He didn't just heave it in the direction of nobody, which he had done at several points. So it shows that he's grown a little bit from that aspect. Would just love to see him throw it in the direction of a receiver, obviously about 50 yards over their head.
So a huge loss in the play. It's 3rd down and now 15 yards to go. Wildcats with 36 seconds to play, leading 21-14, 3rd and 16. Tarwater once again, 3 receivers to the right, taking a lot of time here. He's going to pass down the way. Rogers throws, he picks 6. If he takes it in for the score, up the sideline, they work the ball to the 20, to the 10, down actually to the 15-yard line, where it'll be first down, 10 yards to go, and they have a chance here in the final 15 seconds. I don't see any flags that time, or
there looks might be a marker on the play from the return, from where the return took place, and it looks like Karns might not be in as advantageous scenario here, but it's going to be a sideline warning. Not sure against who just yet. I guess Karns is who they call it on. So it's just going to be a warning. So it looks like Karns is going to have it inside the 15.
So this is what I was saying. The Wildcats have had some trouble closing out halves all season long. And right now the Oak Ridge defense has got to bow up with 15 seconds to play. Officially, they have the ball at the 14-yard line, first down, 10 yards to go. 21-14 our score.
I think one of the things that the obviously need to be aware of is some of those trick plays or some way to get it to Bishop that is kind of disguised because they're going to want to try to score and tie up the ball game here at halftime.
First down, 10 yards to go, 15 seconds.
So it's going to be first down once again. The yardage goal to go.
All right, well, it's half the distance to go there, so they're going to move the ball to the 7-yard line. Only 5 seconds off the clock. This is terrible.
And every pass from here on out is going to go to the end.
Has to come up with a big play once again. They'll split off a receiver to the right. They'll have, looks like, number 2 and number 8. That's Bishop to the left side. Quarterback, now Bishop comes in motion, and the quarterback's going to run it up the field. He is going to be hit, boom, at the 5, breaks a tackle, and moves all the way to the 1-yard line. Not a touchdown. 2 seconds to play. 2 seconds to play, and time has run out on the clock as they hold the ball above their head. And let's see, no signal. He got the ball to about the 1-yard line. Timeout is asked for by the Karns Beavers. I guess they got it called just in time, and over to the sideline they go. Wildcats had an opportunity to hit him right at the line of scrimmage. He was able to bounce off a couple tackles, and they've got the ball at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, and it was just that same play that they had been running, Karns had, where they send motion with Bishop across the field to draw the attention of the Wildcat defense, and Locker, who was in at quarterback there, took the snap and was able to get inside the what looks like the 2-yard line, just at the 1-yard line here. So you're going to have one play left with, I guess what I saw on the clock was maybe about 2 seconds left.
That's what I saw too. It's a handoff to Bishop here. He's going to take it in. So what I said before, and I honestly thought they would go conservative there because we have had so much trouble closing out halves. This has happened to us several times this year.
I think one of the things that has happened on that play that there ended up being a pick, the Wildcats faked a screen pass real quick or a little hitch route to Brandon Hayward there. They sent Hunley, and I can't remember who the other receiver was, Rogers off the top of my head, went deep on go routes. I believe Hunley had a little bit more space to the inside. He had the safety that he could have gotten into and maybe had a little bit of running room, but Hayden just threw it to Rogers, and Lockhart was there to pick it off.
Let's see what the Wildcat defense can do here. They've got the ball. It's right at the 1-yard line. You know Bishop's going to get the ball, or the quarterback. He's done a really good job. Wildcats, they put ball game. Direct snap goes to him. He's hit at the line, and I believe no signal. Ball is out, and they are denied. The Oak Ridge defense holds. Go back to the locker room. Karns down 7. The Oak Ridge defense holds. The ball popped out, and the Wildcats maintain their lead, 21-14. Great play for the Wildcats. Hopefully a momentum play going into the dressing room.
J.K. Morgan was Johnny on the spot there. Came up with that fumble to cause a turnover and get the ball back for the Wildcats, and basically not allow Karns into the end zone. Great momentum play, as you said there, David.
21-14, the Wildcats in the lead. We're on FM 92.7. We're on FM 94.7. PrepRadio.com, Oak Ridge Schools, television channel 15. We're on YouTube on our Prep Radio streaming site. 21-14 our scores. Both teams head to the dressing room. The Wildcats in the lead. We'll take a break. We're going to send it back to Brian Bennett. When we come back, Mike Sheehan will have the scoring summary. Mark and Shauna Hayes will have the first half statistics. But first, we're going to take a break. 21-14 our score. The Wildcats in the lead. We'll be back to Karns with the scoring summary following this 3-minute timeout.
What are they trying to let?
I literally have that video. I got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Karns High School Marching Band. For 67 years, this award-winning band has represented Karns High School and the Karns community with performances in 17 states, 2 foreign countries, and the District of Columbia. The band director is Jim Walker Jr. Assistant directors are Cody Foster and Nat Gallagher. Additional staff includes Will Root, Haley Whitson, Courtney Morris, Lydia Bess, Abby Shelton, Jeffrey Ray, Andrew Pearson, Jason Brown, JT Hicks, and Michael Kemasani. A special thanks to the Karns band boosters, board directors, Leslie Russell, Andrew Jordan, Karen Bean, and Melissa Potter. The band would like to thank their team of dedicated parent volunteers who work tirelessly for the program and continue to support its growth year after year. The 2021 Karns band drum majors are Luis Gonzalez and Caroline Storch. Soloists include Josh Layton, Caleb Charlton, and Natalie Stone. The 2021 edition of Karns High School Band is currently the largest student organization in Knox County with 170 members. The Karns Band will be presenting their 2021 program Day of the Dead with music by John Fannin and visual designs by Zach Riggins. Please welcome once again the Karns High School Marching Band.
David Clary back here along with James Branson, Mark, and Shauna Hayes here. Wildcats on top 21-14. Christian Rosas Rodriguez, Neo Tate, along with Alex Waraxa, Andy Hudson as well. Brian Bennett back in the studios. Big stop there for the Wildcats. Hopefully a big momentum boost.
Hopefully a big momentum boost for the Wildcats, as you said, and going into the halftime, they're getting a stop, especially against one of the best running backs that we've seen or will see all year. I believe it is going to be the Wildcats coming out in the second half with the ball as well. So not only do you get a stop, prevent a score, but you're going to get the ball to start the second half.
Mike Sheehan has joined us once again. Mike, you've got the scoring summary.
Thank you, David. Start things off. Imagine this: Deshaun Bishop made the first touchdown of the night from 6 yards out after they drove the ball down to the 6, put the Karns Beavers up 6-0. Then Jace Harvey, their kicker, kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Karns Beaver led early 7-0. But with 8:19 left in the first quarter, John Hunley ran one in from 10 yards out for the Wildcats to make it 7-6. Efren Rodriguez came in and kicked the ball right between the uprights, and this game was tied. Then with 5:41 left in the first quarter, Hayden Tarwater threw a perfect strike to Brandon Hayward, who carried it into the end zone, and the Wildcats led 13-7. Efren Rodriguez came in to kick the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led 14-7 in what was turning out to be a very exciting game. Then in the second quarter, with 10:22 left in the second quarter, Hayden Tarwater threw a rainbow pass, beautiful, right over the defense, right into the waiting arms of Brandon Hayward, and the Wildcats went up 20-7. Then Efren Rodriguez came in and kicked the ball right between the uprights, and the Wildcats led by 2 touchdowns, 21-7. But that wasn't meant to be the end of the game, that's for sure. The Karns Beavers, Jalen Duke ran around left end from 6 yards out and put the Karns Beavers back on the scoreboard, 13-21. Jace Harvey came in, kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats only led by 1 touchdown, 21-14. And as David and James were talking about a moment ago, the Wildcats made a great play at the very end of this first half to stop the Beavers on the 1 yard line. Deshaun Bishop tried to run it in. Apparently they knocked the ball out of his arms because the Wildcat defender ended up coming out of the pileup with it. They did not score, so the Wildcats lead 21-14 here in the first half at Karns.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate that. Let's see if Mark has completed the stats. We'll hand the mic to Mark Haste. He's got the first half statistics. The Wildcats lead Karns at the half here, 21-14. Mark?
Thanks very much, David. As you said, Oak Ridge leading the Karns Beavers by a score of 21-14. Looking at the first half statistics, first for Oak Ridge, they're led on the ground by Jovis Dozier. He has 13 yards on 6 carries. Jay Hunley has a 10-yard carry. Xavier James has a 1-yard carry. Kendall Jackson's carried the ball 1 time, -1 yards. And Hayden Tarwater carried 1 time for -9 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats have rushed the ball 10 times, totaling 14 yards on the ground. Now looking at the Wildcats through the air, Hayden Tarwater, quarterback for the Wildcats, he's 10 of 11 for 128 yards. He does have 1 interception late in the first half. Receiving for the Wildcats, they're led by Brandon Hayward. He has 3 catches totaling 63 yards. His long tonight is 36 yards. Elijah Rogers has 2 receptions for 35 yards. Jay Hunley has 4 receptions totaling 22 yards. And then Andrew Ferreira has an 8-yard reception. So as a team, the Wildcats have 14 yards on 10 carries. They have 128 yards on 10 receptions for a total offense tonight of 142 yards. Wildcats have earned 6 first downs in the first half. They've been penalized 4 times for 27 yards. Now looking at the Karns Beavers on the ground. No surprise, their leading rusher is Deshaun Bishop. He has 69 yards on 16 carries. That's an average of 4.3 yards per carry. His long is 22 yards. Walker Lockhart has 7 carries for 68 yards, and Gavin Duke has one carry for 13 yards, and that was for a touchdown. Quarterback for the Karns Beavers, Kason Huffaker, he's 1 for 3 for 1 yard with 1 interception on the night. The receiving yard goes to Deshaun Bishop. So as a team, the Karns Beavers have 150 yards on 24 carries. They have 1 yard on 1 reception for a total offense of 151 yards. Karns has 5 first downs in the first half. They've been penalized 4 times for 30 yards. So looking at the team side by side, Oak Ridge rushing yards 14, Karns 150. Oak Ridge with passing yards 128, Karns 1. Total offense, Oak Ridge has 142 total offensive yards in the first half. Karns 151. First downs, Oak Ridge has 6, Karns 5. Penalties, Oak Ridge has been penalized 4 times for 27 yards. Karns 4 times for 30 yards. David?
Thanks a lot, Mark. As we listen to the Big Blue Band from Beaverland here at Karns High School, halftime score is 21-14. Parker Free, Jonas, here. Parker, you have something to tell us?
The 1991 Oak Ridge Football State Championship reunion will be Friday, October 22nd at Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett game. James Powers, Chris Corwin, and the Bankers are supporting this event. We have a designated area at the top of the hill in the grass parking lot right outside Blankenship Field. Big Ed's Pizza and beverages will be provided to all former players, coaches, cheerleaders, band members, and teachers and administrators. It will begin at 5 p.m. and all fans and family are welcome to come visit and celebrate. There will be a quick presentation at 6 p.m. on the field with the team. If you have any questions, please contact Mike Underwood or Sean Summers for more details.
Thanks a lot, Parker. We appreciate that. Halftime score, 21-14 our score. The Big Blue Band from Beaverland continues to play down on the field. Why don't we send it back to Brian Bennett, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that huge stop that the Wildcats got at the end of the first half. 21-14 Wildcats, back to Karns following this 3-minute timeout.
Once again, your Karns High School marching band. I'd like to thank the scoreboard donors, 865 Dennis, Stanley Sis with DDS, Buddy's Barbecue, Mississippi State, Quinby Insurance, Galleon Medical Group, Southwest Rural Surgery, Pine Ridge Plumbing, Beaverton Orthodontics, Bojangles, Rusty Wallace Automotive Group. Also thank you to the Adopted Beaver sponsors, Stephen and Cindy Cooper, Charles and Tricia Ballinger, Jeff and Shannon Stanford, Christina Clifton, Deborah Huffaker, Kenneth and Pamela Piety, Gary and Drew Jones, David and Christy Dawson, Rachel Brewer, Bjorn and Justina Ramirez, Kenneth August, Frankie Blanchard, Murphy Mechanical Contractors, Lauren and Derek Price, Tina and Stephen Eldridge, Anthony Robbins, Randy Harris, Ronnie and Misty Kirkland, Daniel and Kimberly Anderson, Randy Ridley, Deborah Norris, Carl Stitzel, Jeffrey Carpenter, Lisa Bell, Hancock and Associates, Tony and Bettina Nepal, Heather Helton, Elizabeth and William Fox, Mr. Matthews, Aaron Peterson, Audrey Lawrence, Diana Turner, Rebecca and Michael Greenlee, Katie Mingy, Bobby Bastalone, Richard and Sandra Gibson, Becky Bastalone, Will Bastalone, Darian Turner, Pepper Ritchie, James Kirk, Josh and Natalie Owens, Amanda Miles, Craig New, Gary Hopkins, Terry Maples, Rachel Meredith and Caleb Foster, Christy DeRosa, and Neil and Pam Walker. Also, thanks to today's game day sponsor, Aubrey's on Cedar Bluff Road, and thanks to the season sponsors for the meals.
David Clary, James Branson back here at Karns High School. 21-14 is our score. Wildcats hold the lead. The Wildcats fell behind 7-0, as Mike said on our scoring summary. Wildcats then put up 21 unanswered points before the Beavers scored on a really very impressive drive. But the stop there at the end of the first half, huge for the Oak Ridge. Just their psyche, I believe, heading into halftime and the second half.
Yeah, and I think at one point, neither team had punted, and so it was always a scoring drive one direction with a turnover, and so the Wildcats have been very beneficial and been able to score off a turnover and obviously get a stop off of a turnover of their own, and being able to come up with that stop there at the end. And I believe J.K. Morgan was the one that ended up coming up with the fumble. I don't know about you, David, but I just don't understand how Karns is, kind of in some ways refusing to run outside with Deshaun Bishop. He's got a lot of speed. They use Lockhart to get outside as well, but I'm not really sure if why Karns decided to run up the middle there on that play with Bishop. They direct snapped it to him. I personally would have tried to roll him out and try to get him to the sideline and score at the pylon.
Yeah, I'm asking Alex Florax. I didn't hear what Mark said in terms of numbers, what Bishop has, but I know the carries are big time too, and maybe you can lean over there. I don't know if 21-14 score, James?
Yeah, I believe he has 69 yards as of right now. So, the Wildcats have really done a nice job of keeping him contained and forcing him inside. When they have had the outside runs, they pursued really well to the outside on Deshaun, and I think he's only had one gain that was like over 10 yards, and that may have been the direct snap that he took to get outside on that fourth down play.
The key to the ball game, obviously, or the importance of this game. We've talked about this. If the Wildcats can win this ball game, Oak Ridge would be 3-1 in the region with one region game to go against Campbell County. That essentially, for the most part, unless they were to get beat by Campbell County and something crazy like that could happen, but Campbell County lost to Karns, so I think the tiebreaker there might be in Oak Ridge's favor. Oak Ridge could finish second, and that would mean a home playoff ball game to start. We talked about, the record is not good, 2-5. I mean, especially for Oak Ridge standards. Oak Ridge fans are not used to that, but the schedule has been tough. No excuses. We've had a ton of injuries. I don't think anybody outside of the team and maybe some fans who know a little bit more about the program know that Oak Ridge, I think, is a total of 8 linemen that were projected to be starters or the second team guys in spring practice. Just back in May, have gone down to injury or to academics or to other reasons, actually moving out of the city, and they have had to piece together a line, which is getting better, honestly, but a lot of these guys were not scheduled to play, and for the most part, that is one of the reasons why the Wildcats have struggled. The Wildcats do have the skill guys, Everybody knows that. And I think a lot of the fans, casual fans, think, well, Oak Ridge has all this speed. Why aren't they winning? You and I know, James, you win football games at the line of scrimmage. And the Wildcats, you've got guys like Ethan Hewitt and J.K. Morgan who play every snap of the game. They play offense and defense. The Wildcats' depth is just at the line position is just not great. They're building depth. They're getting more players. And a lot of these guys are underclassmen, and they're going to be back next year. But that has been the struggle for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot of people rotate in as well to help out with the line there. Like we said, Marcus Melton, Peyton Sharp, excuse me. And, even putting Jacob Burvin and Brian Kelly down there to help out with the line. But the Wildcats have also made some changes with their line and, how they are flipping the linemen to help protect Hayden Tarwater on passing routes or maybe, set up good run plays to the outside or inside, being able to pull maybe J.K. Morgan one way or the other. And, they have to do those things, but the Wildcats are building toward the playoffs at this point. What the Wildcats should worry about is their region record, obviously, like we've mentioned. Going 4-1 in the region will set the Wildcats up in really good position for the playoffs. And, you get the first round home game, and, you could possibly get more depending on the results of other games. And that happened with the Wildcats last year. And, that's where they got to go. And they got a really fun game with Dobbins-Bennett coming up next week as well.
That'll be a 7:30 game at Blankenship Field, and the Wildcats will close it out against Campbell County, and that'll be another home ball game. That'll be senior night as well. You heard Parker talk about the reunion of the 91 team. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, well, we have some time here. It's one of these TV ball games, so we don't get a chance to talk a whole lot. Here is, honestly, and we get a better shot here as Hayden Tarwater. I was telling somebody, one of our former coaches just today, honestly, that one of the reasons, Hayden Tarwater just has a fantastic arm, but the experience, he's getting kind of on-the-job experience here. He only played one half of one junior varsity game a year ago. That was against West, and did not play in any of the others. Had some snaps in some varsity games, mainly in mop-up situations. He's basically learning to be the starting quarterback. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a really strong arm. You've mentioned a couple times, and I agree with you, and I know they don't want to get him hurt. They list him at like 155, 160. He's more like 140. He's a tall, slender kid, and he has taken shot after shot after shot. I wish he would run a little bit more, and I think we saw, Mitchell Gibbons not run as much and started to run a lot more his senior year, but Hayden I thought really played well, with the exception of that interception there where he underthrew his man a bit. For the most part, he's played really well tonight, and he is getting better as a quarterback.
Well, and you mentioned, he's had half of a JV game last year, and, he got moved up his freshman year, halfway through his freshman year, so he only really got experience from the first half of his freshman year. Then he got moved up to varsity, and so he had about a year and a half where he had no experience other than practice. And when you play, there's a vast difference between practice reps and game reps. Unless you're probably, of course, Alcoa, Oakland, Maryville, those types of teams where you're 1v1s, you're not necessarily, you're two platoons, so you can get some really good reps. We're not to that point yet in Oak Ridge, and hopefully we can build to that point. But getting those game reps is what's going to be extremely valuable for him. And honestly, I think we've seen a lot of growth from Hayden, because earlier in the year we were seeing Hayden, when he would get kind of flustered and flushed out of the pocket, he would just throw the ball away, and he would get an intentional grounding penalty. We haven't seen that the last 2 weeks, so he is playing a lot smarter and making better decisions as he's the leader of the offense.
James, we pull for all of them because this is our alma mater, but you got to pull for that kid. He is one of the nicest kids that you can ever meet.
And one of the nicest kids, and what you love to see about him is one of the most respectful kids, and he will go out of his way in some ways to talk to you, and not he's not very boastful or anything, and he really is a team guy, and you love to see him lead. And hopefully he'll, as a junior, he is not as much of a leader yet, and hopefully he'll continue to grow as a leader and become more vocal as an offensive leader for the Wildcats.
Well, we have a few moments here. Let me get Mike in here one more time. Just Mike, your comments heading to the second half.
Well, I think that defensive stand was one of the best things the Wildcats could have done in a long time. As you talked about earlier, we seem to be having a problem finishing out the first half. And that came true. Tarwater got intercepted. They got the ball all the way down to the 1 yard line. But what a tremendous defensive stand the Wildcats had to, retain their lead. I mean, that's super important. And it's for morale, if nothing else. And then they're going to get the ball here in just a few moments because they won the toss. They deferred, so they get the ball first in the second half here in the third quarter. So hopefully we can take the ball down the field and do something else and score again. So we know we've got to keep scoring against this team. Deshaun Bishop is a scary good runner, and just like as David has talked to and James before, he's going to get loose eventually. I mean, it's just the way he's such a great player. But if we can just maintain and keep scoring like we have, keep our offense rolling, we're going to win this football game. And I'm really excited.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Here we're going to take one break here. They say no time left in the halftime area, but we'll take a quick break. 21-14, Oak Ridge in the lead. The Wildcats should be receiving the opening kickoff of the second half. 21-14, Wildcats will be back with the Karns kickoff in 60 seconds. Welcome back once again to Karns High School. David Clary along with James Branson, our statisticians tonight, Mark and Shauna Hayes. We've got, looks like Andy Hudson's doing camera work. We got Parker Free up here with us as well. Neo Tate, Christian Rosas Rodriguez. We have Matthew Charles and Alex Waraxa back at the station. We have Brian Bennett. Wildcats will be receiving the kick. They've just squibbed it each time, and it's really been some pretty good squib kicks. It's been hard to really, with the exception of that one return, it's been hard really to get their hands on the ball. Let's see what they do this time.
Yeah, and on that last return, which you were talking about, the squib kick that they did, DeJavis had to basically fall on the kick real quick to make sure that Karns didn't recover. As a little bit of an interesting formation here, because the Beavers do a squib kick, the Wildcats do not have anybody really what we would call deep or at the goal line. You have Dozier and Hunley who are at about the 20-yard line on in between the hashes and the numbers to kind of prevent a recovery by the Beavers.
And so Karns getting ready to kick off from right to left. You're listening to us on the radio. They are wearing their all blue pants with blue jerseys, white and gold trim. The Wildcats in their cardinal pants, white and cardinal. Here's the kick. Another squib kick. It's going to be bounding, picked up by Hayward on the Oak Ridge sideline. Up the field he goes, and he has good field position. He'll start this drive at around the 45-yard line of the Wildcats. So good field position to start the first drive of the second half.
Good field position for the Wildcats as they are going to get out close to the 50-yard line. And looks like the Wildcats are making a couple of substitutions here going into this first possession.
Wildcats will have in the backfield Kendall Jackson. The quarterback will be Hayden Tarwater. Receivers will be Hayward along with Rogers for the Wildcats. The tight end here on the right side is Peyton Sharp. The center is Walker Rice. We have J.K. Morgan. We have Ethan Hewitt. We have Schneider and Bentley perhaps in the ball game. And we have one other receiver split out to the left side for the Wildcats as well. And here we go once again. And I think that is the problem. Parker spotted that right away. They had trouble to start the ball game with the clock. They're having to reset the clock once again. I can tell you there wasn't 1 minute taken to get that kickoff off, but that's where they're going to stop it at 11 minutes to go. It didn't take a minute to do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it was just a failure to stop the clock there on that one. As a couple of those other receivers, you mentioned Elijah Rogers. The other one that is coming in now for the Wildcats is number 11, Xavier James.
One thing, we're broadcasting from the bleachers, but the difference between this ball game and last year when we were here, the heaviest dew I think I've ever sat in my life. Everything was soaked up here. Just a beautiful night here.
Yeah, it's a great night, and a really good facility here that they have at Karns. And like we said before, credit both sides. The Oak Ridge fans have come out and supported our team here on fall break, and see a lot of students here in different types of jerseys. I guess it's a jersey night for the Wildcats, and Karns has a good crowd here as well.
They've reset the clock to 11:53, and that's quite accurate. 21-14 Oak Ridge, 1st and 10 Oak Ridge. The ball at the Wildcat 45-yard line. 3 receivers to the left. Kendall Jackson is the lone running back, and it's going to be a quick pass. It's going to be incomplete. A little bit low, intended for James. This time they fake the handoff to Kendall, and Hayden's pass just a little bit low.
Yeah, and that's one of those times that Hayden can get out in space there and kind of pull that and try to get it to Xavier James. That's a little bit of a hard throw as Hayden is running toward his receiver away from the line of scrimmage to make it look like a run play as well, and a potential for Hayden to run. But, just not able to come with that, and second and long here for the Wildcats.
No time off the clock, so this obviously is not the same guy that we saw at Farragut running the clock, and now let's see if they're going to keep it on the field here. No time went off the clock there. It worked perfectly after the first play of the game, but obviously to start the halves, either he hasn't finished his halftime meal or but so here in a second, and then we have just another delay here. It'll be second down, 10 yards to go. 21-14, they have set the clock now. Now they started. It's 11:48. So I guess after each play, they're going to have to reset the clock here. Ball is at the 45-yard line of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge will split out Rogers to the far left of the quarterback. The Wildcats have James and Jackson in the backfield with Hayden Tarwater. Hayden's going to pass, rolls, looks, fires, pass. Is going to be underthrown, but it's caught or intercepted. I think it's going to be intercepted again at around the 45-yard line. He threw it in the coverage there, intending it for Elijah Rogers just to underthrow it. That right there is when I would love to see Hayden just take off and run it instead of trying to force it into a small window. Hayden could have picked up 15 yards right there, but he throws the interception, and once again it's time for the defense to get together and make plays once again.
Yeah, and that's one of those where you can't underthrow that, and Hayden underthrew that just a little bit. If you're going to make that throw, put it over your receiver's head and out of bounds there, and save the down and live to play third down on that scenario.
Izzy Mitchell is in the ball game as a defensive back for the Wildcats. First down, 10 yards to go. So the Wildcats, an empty possession there. Will get the Beavers will get the ball at their 39. They're down by 7. 21-14 the score. Bishop gets the handoff. Oh boy, he got a big hole. He's taking it down the sideline. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5.
Kicking off for Karns, number 38, Blake Dawson.
Deep for Oak Ridge, number 7, Chad Huntley, and number 22, Jovius Dozier.
Welcome back to Karns High School here, just like that. 14 unanswered points by the Beavers, and we're tied 21-21. Here's an onside kick. Marcus Milton falls on it, but then the ball's loose. Karns has it. The Wildcats were retreating backwards on the kick, expecting that little squib kick. Marcus tried to fall on it. Great play call by the Karns coaching staff. The Wildcats were retreating backwards, and he did a regular onside kick right to the line. Marcus Milton really was the only guy around it. He tried to fall on it. Blue shirts all over, and another turnover there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, you said it right. Marcus just wasn't able to come up with it, and the ball kind of squirted out forward. You know, that's one of the things that the front line is taught on kickoffs is to retreat about 5 to 10 yards or so to set up blocks. But as you retreat, you need to keep your eyes focused on the kickoff team and on who your man is. And unfortunately, the Wildcats just weren't able to on that play.
Here come the Beavers once again, 21-21 the score. We haven't even played but about 34 seconds. Here, fumble on their snap, hitting the backfield. Bishop trying to get outside, bumped, tries to get to the corner, and does. Moves the ball for a gain of about 15 yards, I mean. They kept bumping and hitting him. It'll be down. Looks yards to go for a first. What the Wildcats do here. The Wildcats trying to beat Karns for the 26th consecutive time. The Karns putting up a fight here. Timeout is asked for, it looks like, by the Karns Beavers. We'll take it ourselves. We're live here at Karns High School on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com, and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 50. Back to Karns in 60 seconds.
Don't forget, if you know veterans from Reeves across America, we're taking donations. We also want to thank Pizza House for supplying pizza and the Chris Box tonight.
What happened, sorry? What I missed?
Bowman dropped in for a loss. Back here at Karns High School, the Oak Ridge defense trying to make a play here. It's third down, 19 yards to go, 21-21 the score. The Beavers jumps on top of the Wildcats, 7-0. Then the Wildcats put 21 unanswered points on the board, and they have scored 14 straight, and we got a tie ball game.
Got a tie ball game, and that 14 straight is kind of over 2 quarters, the second quarter and the third quarter here to start the game here. And Wildcats in a big third down scenario here coming out of this timeout. I would look to possibly get Deshaun Bishop maybe on a pass route. Maybe you get him out in a little bit of a different way here. Maybe you have a little bit of a trick play up under your sleeve or something if you're Karns, because it's third and I guess about 20 or close to it. They got to get closer to the sticks. I would probably suggest that they're going to go for it on fourth down if they get probably around 5 yards to go.
Here they come to the line, third down. 19 yards to go, 9:38 to play. We're in the third period in a 21-21 ball game. They've had some really interesting play calls tonight, some reverses, some double handoffs, as the quarterback is going to drop back to pass. Has some pressure, lots of pressure, tries to roll, goes deep down the field. Izzy Mitchell defending, caught, touchdown, Beavers. Mismatch in height there between the receiver, threw it over the top of Oak Ridge's defensive back, and Karns has the lead.
Yeah, not really a well-thrown ball as from Huffaker there. Just, Izzy didn't have the height that Lockhart does. Lockhart was just able to go up over him and get it and score a touchdown there on that play, as it looks like we have a timeout here, a injury timeout. Brought to you by Donnie Sharp. If you are injured, call Donnie at 88. Go ahead, David.
East Tennessee Spine and Sport. Let's take a quick timeout. 27-21 our score. We'll be back in 60 seconds. What a revolting turn of events here at Karns High School. The Wildcats now find themselves down 27-21. The Wildcats have just got to get some fire in their bellies right now. Right there, really nice play. It was third down 19. They go with a long pass. He had single coverage, but as you said, James, and as I mentioned, Izzy's not a very tall guy, and the receiver for him was a good 8 inches taller than him. He just leaped over the top of him, pulled the ball down on a great play by the Karns receiver, and they'll go for the extra point.
And one thing that the Wildcats had done really in the first half was not allowing Karns' offense to get in a rhythm, and unfortunately 2 short possessions, and Karns' offense, I believe, is in a rhythm now.
Kick is on its way. It's up, and it is good. Karns has scored 21 unanswered points. They have not beaten Oak Ridge since 1985. Momentum has shifted to them, and I'm going to hold it right here, James. The crowd is dead for one thing. The cheerleaders have got to kind of really need to get the team kind of revved up here. It has been one of those kind of tough years for sure, but the Wildcats are still very much in the ballgame. Turnovers have been a problem here. The onside kick, huge play. Big momentum shift. The interceptions here have been bad. The Wildcats, I think can run the ball on them. They haven't really tried much to go outside, as you've been saying. They've tried to go up the middle quite a bit here. Wildcats a lot of time. We're still 9:28 to play in the third quarter, but the crowd is absolutely dead right now here. And what the Wildcats football team needs is a little bit of crowd support here, but they are dead as a doornail.
You're right, and one of the things that you've kind of had several turn of events, big swings here, long pass plays, long rushes by Karns, turnovers. If the Wildcat offense can get in a groove here, kind of maybe eat some clock, test the speed outside, because a lot of Karns' speed is in their secondary and not really at the line. Maybe the Wildcats can get in a little bit of a momentum going and get some first downs and score a touchdown here.
I'd like to see the cheerleaders kind of get the. Here's another bounding return by the Wildcats. Xavier James is going to have it at the 41-yard line. I'd like to see the cheerleaders kind of spread out to the Oak Ridge fans and kind of get the Oak Ridge fans riled up here. Wildcat offense down now 28-21. I'm telling you, this crowd is absolutely dead.
Yeah, it is, and I think a little bit of a shock here, and hopefully the Oak Ridge offense is not shocked, and hopefully they just come out and execute. They faced a lot of adversity throughout the year, and this isn't really much different, and the Wildcats have overcome it in the first half, and you hope to see that in the rest of the second half.
Wildcats look so good, especially early on when they were just passing the ball up and down the field. Wildcats first down, 10 yards to go. Here comes Rogers running the ball. Rogers, a good run, gains about almost 9 or 10 yards. He picks up about 9. The first carry of the night for him, moves the ball to the midfield stripe. It'll be second down and a yard to go. 9:20 to play here in the third quarter. 28-21 Karns.
Yeah, and Elijah Rogers, we saw him run that little jet sweep type play twice last week, and we saw him run it here. Elijah Rogers is pretty deceptively quick. It takes him maybe a step or two to get going, but he's pretty quick, David.
Second down, like I said, a yard to go. Tarwater, quarterback, has the snap, hands it off. Good running room. That's a first down for Jai Hunley, and he powers his way across midfield down to the Beavers' 46-yard line. So right now we've got 3 really good running backs. We can run the ball on them, and I think they don't want to turn the ball over, obviously, and just power the ball down the field against them.
And one of the things that you saw there was Hayden Tarwater reverse out and then fake it throw out to Brandon Hayward. So just keeping that threat alive there for the offense is going to be key for the Wildcats as well.
Dozier in the backfield for the Wildcats here. 2 receivers split to the left, actually 3. It's a quick pass caught by Elijah Rogers. He turns the corner. Great running room down the Karns sideline across the 40 down to around the 35-yard line. And that looks like it should be enough for another. Actually, it's going to be a little bit short. It's going to be second down. The angle is not good for me. It's second down and 5 yards to go. And ball is at, I guess, the 37-yard line. 9:07 to play, third quarter, 28-21 Karns as we broadcast here from Karns High School. Wildcat quarterback is Hayden Tarwater. 3 receivers to his right. The Javis Dozier in the backfield. Quick pass out to Hunley. Catches it on a dead run. Splits the defense. He picks up close to first down yardage. Still driving his legs. Got to hold on to the ball. Moves the ball down to around the 30-yard line, and that is enough for a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Really nice job here with the Wildcat receivers blocking for one another. The last 2 plays to Hunley and Rogers, you've had them blocking for one another as well as Brandon Hayward. So you love to see that how they're working together. And, it's really not about me. It's really about we. And they're really showing that by picking up those blocks and allowing Wildcats to pick up first downs.
Ball is at the Karns 30-yard line. 28-21, Karns in the lead. Dozier once again in the backfield. 2 receivers to his left now. Hayden's going to pass. Wanted to go deep. Looks, fires it. Sideline, passes there. Incomplete. It's going to be over at around the 15-yard line. Led him just a little bit too far down the field. It'll be, let's see if there's a flag on the play. It'll be second down and 10.
No, that was a new ball that was coming into the game for the Wildcats, David. As, credit Hayden. We talked about him growing a little bit as a quarterback and as a leader. He threw that one basically where his guy or nobody was going to get it out of bounds there. And that was one of the things last year Mitchell Gibbons did really well of.
I wish he would take off and run some. Here's a quick pass again. That's kind of a miscommunication there between his receiver, Elijah Rogers. It's incomplete. It'll bring up third down, 10 yards to go. The Wildcats were having a lot of success running the football here. Back-to-back incompletions here. I would love to see Hayden just kind of take it up the field himself.
Yeah, and run one of those zone reads or triple option reads that they have with their 2 running backs that are in the backfield now with Hunley and Dozier. Maybe have him do that and give him an option to pitch it if necessary.
Third down, 10 yards to go at the Karns 30-yard line. He's got the snap. He's about to get killed. He is sacked at the 40-yard line. All the way back to the 40. You know, the Wildcats had run the ball and did the short passes, but then 3 straight times, and that was just a big hit. He never saw him coming off the edge.
Yeah, the downfield routes there, I believe it was 2 go routes on the opposite side toward the Karns sideline, just took a little bit longer to develop. Karns blitzes as well. I believe number 99 for them came in and made the sack and really looked like he was untouched to me. And so this is going to be the first time that the Wildcat fans are going to see Jacob Burvin and Brian Kelly back punting.
Wouldn't surprise me if Jacob takes off and runs here. 4th down, 20 yards to go. Ball is at the 40-yard line of Karns. Low snap. Jacob is going to kick it. High, wobbly kick. And you got to cover it. Oh, my gosh. The Wildcats, they punted it. They could have downed it inside the 5-yard line, but instead they let it bounce and roll into the end zone. Sophomore mistake right there by the man down the field there. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20.
Yeah, and I think on that, one thing that the Wildcat coverage team does a really good job of is they get downfield, and Jacob, I don't know if you could hear, but the entire Karns sideline was screaming fake because Jacob just continued to roll out, and nobody was coming out to block him, and it allowed the coverage team to get downfield. But you just got to make sure that once you're downfield, you turn around and look for that bounding kick over and over again to try to down it inside the 5-yard line.
28-21 the score. Karns in the lead. 7:22 to play, third quarter. Can't fall behind here. The offense has all of a sudden been stopped here. Bishop gets the handoff, and he moves the ball up the field, and he goes down. Not a whole lot of yardage there. Maybe got a good head of steam there. Maybe it'll be Schneider on the stop there for the Wildcats. Game for Karns of 3. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. 7:07 to play. Ball is put down at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, one thing that the Wildcat defense has shifted to is a little bit more of a man-on-man concept here. Is you have blitzes coming from the safety on that play. It came from Brandon Hayward. So there's not really a big second line of defense other than your linebackers here for the Wildcat defense.
Justin Crowley's back in the secondary for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge also has Jaden Williams back there along with couple others. Hayward, the quarterback's running up the sideline. He's going to Powell drive back hard by the Wildcats. The Wildcats, I think that's probably number 17, Jaden Williams, and number 38, Jacob Burvin. The power tackle, I figured it had to be Burvin. It'll be 3rd and 5. The Wildcats have not been able to stop him on some 3rd down and longs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one of those they scored on the last time. But that's just the play that we saw there that they continue to run. They motion Bishop one way, and they just have Lockhart keep it out the backside. And, you got a 3rd and 5 here. It's a big situation for the Wildcats. We really need to force a punt.
6 minutes to play here in the third quarter. They'll split out receivers here to the near side. Quarterback, he's run the ball quite effectively in this one. And play is halted. And the play clock got down to 1, and a timeout is asked for by Karns. We'll take it ourselves. Karns leads Oak Ridge 28-21. Back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Karns High School. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Bishop in the shotgun now. He's going to roll to his right. He wants to pass. Fires a pass. It's going to be caught. And they move the ball up to the 30-yard line. And let's see if that's enough for a first down. I think it's very close to it. It is going to be 1st and 10. So Bishop throws a pass, his first pass of the night, although they spot it just behind the 30-yard line. Just behind the 30-yard line, but the nose of the ball hit the 30. So good play there, good play call. I've been impressed with their play calling.
Yeah, really nice play calling there. And, they've thrown in some surprise plays, like you said, reverse or double reverse, and just a little bit of the old Tebow-ish jump pass where Deshaun Bishop just stood there and hit it, his little H-back number 15 out in the flats.
28-21 Karns. Quarterback hands it to Bishop. Bishop explodes again, and there he goes. Touchdown. Unless there's a flag down, they're not going to get him. There is a flag down. There is a flag down right at the 40-yard line. I think it's going to be holding on number 70, and this one's going to come back. Man, that guy, once he gets in the open, he goes. It is holding against Karns. So Wildcats catch a break, and that finally gets the Oak Ridge crowd a little enthusiasm. Man, that guy can go.
He can go, David, and one thing to remember about him is that he is only a junior. And, he's racking up all these yards and being very impressive. He was pretty impressive last year when we faced them. But that guy just continually gets better, and I don't think he has come off the field offensively all night long, which is even more impressive.
5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Karns penalized. 28-21 is our score. The penalty went down at the 40-yard line. They're going to walk it back to the 30, and that's where Karns will have it. It'll be first down and 10 yards to go. They lead 28-21 is our score here. And Beavers, Bishop's got to be tired. I mean, he doesn't play a lot of defense there. He does all the special teams. Wildcats have just got to get some quit being sealed off on the corners over there as the Beavers come up to the line. The Wildcats could use a turnover. It's 1st and 9 officially. Ball at the 31-yard line. Down to 3 on the play clock. Quarterback's going to hand it off. Now he's going to run the ball himself, and he moves the ball again to the 35-yard line. Wildcat Schneider tried to get him in the backfield. They're just getting too big a chunks. When you kind of try to have to focus on one guy like Bishop, it kind of leaves those other guys free, and those other guys are the ones, well, Bishop's killing us, but the other guys are killing us and making those third down conversions and such.
Yeah, it would be Lockhart there on that one, and, it looks like the Beavers have all but abandoned the passing game here unless it's a long scenario like it was on that 3rd and 19 earlier, and Lockhart and Bishop are kind of running the show for the Beavers offense.
Second down, 3 yards to go. It's a long 3. Lockhart at quarterback. Handoff goes to Bishop. He cuts back inside, and he goes down at around the 45-yard line, and that's going to be enough for a first down. He had to get to that point, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Beavers. 4:09 to play. They had a long time-consuming drive earlier. Wildcats need a stop on defense.
Yeah, and this is playing right into the Beavers' hand right now on offense as I believe it looks like that we have a timeout Oak Ridge.
We're going to hold it right here. We're live on FM 92.7, FM 94.7. At the conclusion of the game, we'll have Mark and Shauna's final statistics here. Mike Sheehan, 28-21 the score. The momentum obviously shifted to the Karns Beavers, and the Wildcats just trying to regain something. They need some stops on defense here.
We absolutely do, David. This has been a struggle here in the third quarter for whatever reason. We need to regroup, and we definitely need to stop them on this drive right here, trailing 28-21, 3:59 left here in the third quarter. There's plenty of time to come back, but we've got to start playing better defense, and we've got to get some offense generated to put points on the board.
That's a lot. Mike Sheehan, 3:59 to play. Our camera personnel tonight, we have down on the field Neo Tate, Matthew Charles, Alex Baraxa, Christian Rosas Rodriguez. Up here we have Andy and Parker. That'll be Parker Free, and of course our normal guy, Mr. Andy Hudson here. And Andy is yet to speak here. Parker did all the talking earlier. Maybe we'll get Andy to speak later. First down, 10 yards to go. Wildcats showing blitz here. Quarterback's going to get the ball, roll to his right on the sideline. Nice tackle out there. Little low tackle knocked down by the Wildcats. And it's going to be Jacob Irvin, another tackle. He's made a ton of them. Short gain on the play. Second down and 8 yards to go. 3:43 to play third quarter. 28-21. Karns trying to beat Oak Ridge for the first time and only the second time ever. First time since 1985. And they lead Oak Ridge 28-21.
Yeah, and it's just Karns right now. Their offense is basically just trying to get about 4 yards every rush or so and continue to pick up first downs, and they did that the previous drive that they have as well.
Bishop gets the direct snap, and he's going to look for running room, and he's going to be tackled by Kendall Jackson and one other Wildcat, and that'll be Brian Kelly right at the 48-yard line. It'll be for the Beavers. You know, they're obviously getting a big push to the line because, you know, he gets like 3 yards just when he starts moving, and it's going to be third and short.
Yeah, and, you know, it's third and short. Like we said, they are putting themselves in really good position to pick up first downs and keep drives alive by getting about 4 yards every play. And the Wildcat defense really needs to stop here and maybe force Karns to either punt or try to go for it on fourth down again.
Third down, 2 yards to go. Here's the quarterback handing it off to Bishop, and Bishop goes to the left side and pushed out of bounds. And there's a flag on the play, and it might be a personal foul against the Wildcats. One of the Beavers is down right at the 45-yard line, although they're kind of backing up here. Official talking about it. It seemed like it was after the play had gone past. We're going to see it's going to be a chop block against the Wildcats, and that's going to be against the Wildcats. They picked up the first down anyway, and that's going to give them big yardage in Wildcat territory.
I think one of the things there that if you cut a lineman, David, the new rule is that you have to cut them immediately at the line of scrimmage. So as opposed to cutting them, you know, a yard or two downfield, you know, once the play is kind of already started to progress, I think the cut block or the shot block has to occur immediately and it cannot be after, you know, the first couple seconds of the play.
The penalty is up to the 31-yard line, and this time-consuming drive, they're already up by 7, and the Wildcat offense all of a sudden has stopped. Wildcats look so good and crisp moving the ball at one point, but now Wildcat defense, they've got to be getting tired. You guys like Morgan and Hewitt, they're going both ways. Hundley and Rogers going both ways. They got to be getting tired. It's just kind of moving the ball up the field, and you cannot have penalties like that. Here's the quarterback running again off to the right side, and he runs into a mess, but he still is able to get 4 or 5 yards. You know, I know you got to keep on Bishop, but, man, the quarterback's killing him.
Yeah, and it's just their, I guess, their read option quarterback who they put in that scenario with Lockhart. And, you know, Lockhart's really been the one that, other than the 2 plays that Bishop's, you know, really sprung and gotten out, the Wildcats have done a good job of keeping him under control, but Lockhart's the one that continually it's about 5 to 10 yards every carry.
It'll be second down, 5 yards to go, 2:02 to play in the third quarter. The Wildcats trying to win their third district ball game, and Karns trying to win their third as well. Here comes Bishop, and guess what he's got? A touchdown. Just got to the outside, sprints into the end zone. And the Wildcats now are down 13 points, and this is looking bad here for the Wildcats. They've got to generate some excitement as the Big Blue Band from Beaverland plays their fight song. And the Wildcats are down 34-21.
Yeah, and one thing that's making it very difficult for the Wildcats tackling-wise after the, you know, initial line of scrimmage is the Wildcats are playing a lot of man coverage and a lot of man concepts, and there's just basically nobody after the linebackers who are blitzing to tackle Deshaun Bishop once he gets past the first wave.
He's on his way. It's up, and it's good. The Wildcats are down 2 scores. So after jumping out to a 21-7 lead, the Beavers have rolled up 28 consecutive points here, and the Wildcats find themselves now trailing 35-21. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
We got to get going here, guys. Big time.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. Here come the Beavers kicking off 35-21. Another onside kick, bouncing, fielded by Brandon Hayward at the 41-yard line. And he just kind of fell on it to save possession. You don't want to turn the ball over. You and I were talking about it here. The Wildcats, in that last drive, they started moving the ball with a short passing game and running the ball, and then got away from that. And then the big sack, obviously, was the killer of that drive. The Wildcats scored so easily early on in the ball game, and the Wildcats just like pulling, it's just like scratching nails on they can't get anything done.
Yeah, and their long passing routes that the Wildcats are trying to set up just don't have enough time to complete those.
First down, 10 yards to go. Handoff goes, running back, that's Xavier James, and he doesn't get much. Second yards, we haven't had much in the middle part of the field. Minute 37 to play third quarter. It is the third quarter, as James said a moment ago, but we're down 2 scores now. It's 35-21. The Wildcats have it. Second down, 8 yards to go. Ferreira is going to be a receiver split to the right side. The tight end now is Marcus Melton. Wildcats have split out to the left side. That's Justin Crowley. Handoff goes Kendall Jackson. Kendall Jackson, he makes a move. He does pick up a first down, moves the ball across the 50, the 44-yard line. His hard cut, I thought he was going to go 60 yards for a score.
Yeah, and David, that's probably the best hole the offensive line has had all year, just not able to capitalize on it with a touchdown there, but great burst of speed that we saw from Kendall Jackson there.
10 back of Oak Ridge, first down. We're in Karns territory. Here comes Kendall this time. He has no place to go. Now he breaks the tackle, heads to the Karns sideline, is pushed out of bounds. That should be a personal foul, but I see no flag. He was tackled well out of bounds. No flags on the play. Stops the clock. 53 seconds to play. Kendall running hard.
Kendall coming in and running hard, and he spins out of the first tackle and gave the second guy a nice shoulder to the face mask there and able to get upfield and get out of bounds, so he stopped the clock. But, as you said, that should be a 15-yard personal foul penalty, is because Kendall was tackled at least 3 yards out of bounds.
53 seconds to play here in the third quarter, 35-21 the score. Here come the Wildcats handing it off to James. That's a face mask right there, but there's no call. James was grabbed by the face mask. He's going to lose yardage. It's going to be third down and 6. So Wildcats have it now third down and 8, so you can't have these negative plays like that.
Well, and you got to have the right personnel in those situations, I believe, as well. I know Hunley's probably going both ways, but, you got DeJavis Dozier and Hunley both over there with probably a little bit more speed.
Third down, 8 yards to go. Tarwater hands it to Kendall. Kendall moves the ball up the field, lowers his head, pile drives a guy all the way down to the 30-yard line or close to it, and that is a 10 back of Oak Ridge first down, and that is the nicest run of the year for Kendall Jackson. He just lowered his head and ran over the guy, and that might be the final play of the third quarter. If the Wildcats can get another playoff, they could save some time here. If they get a playoff, they're not going to. Down, no time left. That's the end of the third quarter. It would have been great to get that playoff with no time left on the clock. The Wildcats just didn't get up to the line. We have played 3 quarters of football here at Karns. Wildcats down 35-21. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Each school, please go to the Reese Across America table at the main gate. Would a school administrator from each school please go to the Reese Across America table at the main gate? Again, we want to thank our school board donors, 865 Dentist, Stanley Sisk, DDS, Buddy's Barbecue, Mississippi State, Winby Insurance, Galleon Medical Group, Southeast Oral Surgery, Pipe Ridge Plumbing, Everton Orthodontics, Bojangles, and Rusty Wallace Automotive Group. Also thanks to House's Pizza for supplying pizza to the press box. Donations to Wreaths Across America. This organization provides wreaths for veterans' graves in the national cemeteries here in Knox County.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. The Wildcats down 35-21. Oak Ridge at one time led in this game 21-7, but it's been all Karns since.
Yeah, and hopefully the Wildcats can ride this little wave of momentum they've started here toward the end of the third quarter and continue to, feed the ball to Kendall Jackson. He's running really hard and running really well and leaving some OR imprints left on some Karns Beaver defenders.
Ball's at the 30-yard line. The Wildcats trying to go 3-1 in the region. The Beavers trying to go 3-1 in the region. Their only loss is to Powell.
Yeah, I think the winner of this game would lock up second place, most likely in the district or in the region, and puts themselves in a really good situation. So the Wildcats really need to capitalize here offensively to start the fourth quarter and give them a little bit better shot going deep into the fourth quarter. And then you need to get some stops defensively. And the Wildcats are doing a good job by keeping most of their defense on the sideline. Get them a little rest here.
Jacob Irvin is now in at tight end. He's lined up here on the left side. He's got a little speed. Wildcats have it first down, 10 yards to go. Opening play of the fourth period here, 35-21. Karns in the lead. Quarterback is Hayden Tarwater. Wildcats have, looks like Hundley back in the ball game as a running back along, I guess, with Kendall Jackson. Wildcats have a single receiver split to the right, 1st and 10. Ball is at the 30-yard line, now moving right to left here in the fourth quarter. Handoff goes straight up the middle, running the ball for a gain of about 3 is Jai Hundley. And it'll bring up for the Wildcats, 2nd down, 7 yards to go. 11:50 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats down 35-21.
Yeah, and again, once like you've said, get Hayden Tarwater maybe on the edge, fake the handoff one time to either Hundley or Kendall, and get out on the edge and pitch it to the other guy. Use their speed of the Wildcat offense.
2nd down, 7 yards to go from the Karns 27. Handoff goes to Kendall, tries to get outside. He had no place to go. Stiff arms the man, picks up perhaps first down yardage. He did that all on his own, James Branson. He got the ball to 20. He was trapped in the backfield. He was going to lose about 5-6 yards. He somehow was able to move the ball for a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Kendall just kept extending the play further and further toward the sideline. It is going to be a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down, as you said. And just able to stiff arm and kind of tiptoe the sideline there, and great effort by Kendall on his part.
The 19-yard line, 1st down and 10. Tarwater hands it off to Kendall. This time Kendall moves the ball forward to around the 15-yard line. Running the ball, obviously. We're moving the ball, and they kind of got away from that on the last drive, but you're down 2 scores, and the clock is eventually going to start coming into play here.
Clock is going to come into play, but as fast as the Wildcat offense goes, they're really snapping it with about 20 seconds left on the play clock, so they're going quickly even though they're running the ball.
It'll be 2nd down, 8 yards to go. The ball is at the 17-yard line. Tarwater, quick pass. He's got blockers in front. That's Elijah Rogers. He's at the 5. He's at the 3. Slung down at around the 3-yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal Oak Ridge on a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Really nice job there, play calling wise by Coach Hodge. To get a quick screen out. We've kind of lulled them to sleep by running the ball over and over, probably about 6 or 7 times in a row. Get Elijah Rogers out in space, and he picks up a first down, puts you in 1st and goal.
Wildcats have the ball. 1st down, goal to go, as James said, at the 3-yard line. Backfield split, 10:23 to play in the ball game. Wildcats down 35-21. Handoff goes Kendall Jackson. Munch. He goes down right at the line of scrimmage. That was Hundley.
Yeah, that was Hundley on the handoff there, and it looks like that he might be coming out. DeJavis Dozier was the other running back, and, Karns is doing a good job by setting their corner to the away side really close to the line of scrimmage because there's no receiver out there. Might be interesting to see if the Wildcats put a receiver out there just to maybe help block or take some of the attention away from the line of scrimmage.
Now under 10 minutes to go in the ball game. Play clock down to 16. The Wildcats have the ball. They lost a yard on that one. It's 2nd down, goal to go at the 4. The Wildcats need to score here quickly. 35-21 the score. Quick pass, caught. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. The Wildcats score. Elijah Rogers on the reception. 9:36 to play here in the fourth quarter, and the Wildcats are down 35-27.
Just that same screen pass there to Elijah Rogers on the edge, and Hayden does a good job of getting it out quick, but one thing that the Wildcats need to be wary of is the defensive end or outside linebacker that's walked up is biting quickly and trying to get his hands up and nearly pick that one or tip that one. So the Wildcats need to be a little bit cognizant of that.
Efren Rodriguez to attempt the extra point here. Okay, I'm not taking it. 35-27 the score. Kick is on its way. It's up, and it is up and good. 9:36 to play in the ballgame. Oak Ridge down 7, 35-28. We'll be back to Karns in 60 seconds.
Got to get a stop and get the ball back.
David Clary back here along with James Branson here at Karns High School. So that makes us feel a little bit better here. 35-28 the score. And during the break, I heard Mike say we got to get some stops on defense, and that's for sure because Karns, they can the way they run the ball, they can either score really quick or they can just kind of drive the ball and take the clock off. And we're down 7 right now.
And that's what they did both of their drives in the third quarter, David, is they basically just got 3 or 4 yards at a time, continued to drive, tried to wear down the Oak Ridge defense, and they were able to score once on a short field, about 45 yards, and then obviously that little bit longer drive there where Deshaun Bishop and Lockhart were able to take their time. And, credit Karns, they've had a great offensive game plan here for the Wildcats.
Next week, the Wildcats will take on the Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett Indians. That game will be at Blankenship Field. That'll be a 7:30 kickoff. The class of 1991, the state champion team, will have their reunion. If you are interested in listening to our broadcast right now and you are part of that 91 team or, part of the 92 class, I guess it would be, you can contact Mike Underwood or Sean Summers as the Wildcats will be kicking from the 40.
As the Wildcats have popped it up here, and it's going to be David Wilson with the pop-up. Karns has kind of moved some of their players around. Deshaun Bishop's up closer to the line of scrimmage now.
David Wilson to kick. Here it is. He kicks it high, angling. There's a fair catch made right around the 27-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. If they had looked at that, there was nobody on the near sideline here. They had one guy back there, and he was angled over on the other side. They could have kicked it over here in the dead area there, and the Wildcats could have maybe even recovered it.
It's a little bit of a hard kick as the Wildcats were on the left hash here toward their sideline, and they were lined up to kick it toward the Karns sideline. Not saying that they couldn't have, but that might be a little bit hard of an ask there by David Wilson, the sophomore.
That's a terrible spot right there. He caught the ball at the 27-yard line. They put it at the 30. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go. 9:36 to play in the ballgame. Karns in the lead, 35-28. Bishop in the shotgun once again, gets the direct snap, moves the ball, tries to get to the sideline. The Wildcats hem him in after a gain of only about a yard. That's a good play by the Oak Ridge defense.
Really nice play, and I was watching their linebackers kind of communicate there on that play, and they did really well because number 15 for Karns switched to the other side so he could pick up a block for Bishop, which he was unable to do, but the Wildcats knew their assignment and able to execute it really well there.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Of course, Karns will take as much time off the clock as they possibly can here. 20 seconds on the play clock here. 9 minutes to play in the ballgame. 35-28 Karns. Second down, 9 yards to go. Receivers left and right. Bishop gets the direct snap. Tries to get outside, and he is going to be pushed out of bounds just a little bit shy of a first down. It'll be third down and 2 yards to go. I agree with what one of the fans over here was saying. He is moving before this ball is snapped.
Yeah, as the quarterback, or direct snap quarterback, basically, he's coming up toward the line of scrimmage, which should be a false start, but they haven't called it all night, so I wouldn't expect them to start calling it now.
They need about 1 yard and 6 inches for a first down. The ball is just shy of the Karns 39-yard line. They've got it third down, like I said, 1 yard to go. Oak Ridge fans making a little noise here. He went out of bounds, stopped the clock with 8:50 to go. Bishop About to get the direct snap. Once again, can't let him get free here. He's got the snap. There's a flag down immediately. I don't know. It's kind of quick for a hold. Yeah, the Oak Ridge fans were yelling hold, and it was in the middle of the field where they normally call hold, but it came down so quickly.
Yeah, I saw a Karns offensive lineman on the ground pretty quick, so I'm wondering if they're going to call a cut or a legal cut block or a chop block or something like that occurred here. It should be interesting because hopefully it'll back the Karns Beavers up and put them in a worse position for third down once again.
He's going to say it's going to be against the Beavers, and I didn't actually see the signal.
It was a chop block.
Chop block, Karns.
So that is a big call, but the Wildcats, they've had it 3rd and 19 and scored and gotten long first downs. It's going to be a big penalty, yards, step back. It's going to be 3rd down and long facing them.
Yeah, that's a personal foul penalty now, David, so that's a 15-yard penalty. So it's going to put Karns in about 3rd and 16.
They got a 3rd and 19 conversion earlier in the ball game. They've got to get the right personnel in the secondary here. They've got Justin Crowley. They got Jaden Williams. They got Brandon Hayward. The Wildcats have Elijah Rogers. So it's 3rd down. It's 16 yards to go. The ball is at the Karns 24-yard line. This might be the ball game right here, James.
I think so. And, one thing that the Wildcats have been covering, they've been doing cover 0, so no safety back deep, really. Everybody's kind of at the line of scrimmage.
Bishop comes in motion. Quarterback's running. Nope, he's going to Bishop. There he goes. Touchdown. There he goes. All the way. Touchdown. What can you do? It's 3rd and 16. He's going to get the ball. He got to the outside, and there's nobody out there. There's nobody who can catch him.
Yeah, David, all the blocks were taken up there by the outside linebackers. And like we said, when you're man on man, if you don't beat your man and defeat your block, then you're going to allow him to basically get out wide open. And, credit to Deshaun Bishop. He beat Jacob Burvin to the edge, which is pretty impressive. It shows you the speed that Deshaun Bishop has.
And they'll go for the extra point. The only good news about it is they scored so quickly. Here's the ball is down. The kick is on its way. It's up, and it is good. Karns trying to beat Oak Ridge for only the 2nd time ever. The Wildcats are 32-1 all time. They have won 25 consecutive games. Karns on top of Oak Ridge, 42-28. We'll take a break. We'll send it back to Brian Bennett. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Karns High School. As I said earlier, another revolting development is taking place here at Karns. They've upped their lead back to 14. Here's their kick, a little bounding kick. It's going to go rolling out of bounds. That's going to be a penalty against the Karns Beavers. 42-28, just the number of 42 points that they've put on the board against the Wildcats. That in itself, it's a one-man show for sure, and we're going to have to deal with this guy again next year.
Yeah, David, and one of the things that we've talked about, he's averaging 300 yards a game. He's at 241, I believe Mark Hayes said just a moment ago. So he's at or close to his average. He's been able to get his yards, but the Beavers, one thing that they've done really good job of offensively is they've taken care of the football in the second half, and they haven't really shot themselves in the foot. And the Wildcats really just got to answer quickly here. I think you got to get your quick passing game, maybe try to get a shot down the field, but the offensive line's just got to hold up in order to be able to do those things.
You're almost going to have to abandon the running game, which we need so badly. That's the only thing really that's been working here. 8:09 to play in the ball game. Karns in the lead, 42-28. The Wildcats once again will split out 2 receivers to the left. That'll be Brandon Hayward along with Elijah Rogers. They got single coverage out here. I think if Hayden can just get the ball down the field, they can hit these guys. Hayward now goes in motion over towards the Karns sideline. Tarwater from the shotgun, 1 lone running back, 1st and 10. Hayden back to pass, has time, looks. He's going to have to crank it deep. Now he's going to run it. He's sacked. Got dropped right back. Might have gained a yard at most, but he's either going to have to throw it. He didn't want to throw a turnover or throw an interception right there. He's either got to decide to run maybe a little bit quicker. It's going to be no gain on the play.
Well, David, what the Oak Ridge Wildcats did is they motioned Brandon Hayward across the field, and it left Jai Hunley basically in one-on-one coverage with the safety. Nobody even touched him. And if Hayden just, launches it, Jai's going to catch it and walk into the end zone for a touchdown.
Second down, 10 yards to go, 7:33 to play in the ball game, 42-28 Karns. Hayden back to pass again. Now he's in a lot of trouble. He's just going to go out of bounds. He's tackled out of bounds. He was running out of bounds, but there is no flag.
They're not going to call that. They didn't call it on the Kendall run, and they won't call it there, even though he was tackled way out of bounds, it looks like. But, the Wildcats look like what they wanted to set up there was maybe a little bit of a throwback screen pass, maybe to Kendall, and I think Hayden took a look at it and just realized that it wasn't there, so he was just trying to get as many yards as he could as he was rolling out.
7:24 to play. It's going to be 3rd and 15 now facing the Wildcats. Wildcat offense, which looks so crisp early on, just cannot move the ball. Tarwater and company have got to make a big play right here. Down 14. Tarwater rolls this time to his right. He's going to throw it. Fires a pass. Complete. Hundley moves the ball across the 50-yard line. Moves the ball, continuing on his way for a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down. Nice play. Got the ball in the hands of a playmaker, and it's 1st and 10 Wildcats.
Yeah, and this might be a little bit critical here, David, but that has to be quicker. I think if you get that out quicker there, yeah, the Wildcats pick it up, but Jai could still be running for a touchdown at this point if it's a little bit faster out to him.
He's got to come out of the ball game here. 7 minutes to play. In the ball game here, it'll be first down, 10 yards to go. Ball is at the 46-yard line of Karns. 42-28, Karns in the lead. Brian Kelly is the tight end now. He's going to line up on the left side. 2 receivers to the right. Looking to pass. Here's the pass. Caught by Hayward. Right at the sticks here. Man, he had to thread the needle there because it was right in a tight coverage there, and that is going to be a gain of 9 on the play. 6.5 minutes to play. The Wildcats have moved the ball to the Karns 37. They got to go quick. Second down and a yard to go. Tarwater looking for the play from the sideline. 6:18 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats down 42-28. Kendall Jackson in the backfield. Second down, 1 yard to go. Tarwater has the snap, quick pass, caught. Moving the ball, that's Xavier James. He fumbles the football, and they've got it. Wrong person in the game. And down the sideline they go, and that's going to do it. He had a first down, got popped with it, and turns the ball over. And I think that's going to do it for the Wildcats unless the Wildcats can get a turnover. Just an unfortunate play. They got the play they wanted. James caught it, moved the ball, and got popped. You just got to secure the ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, David. And what happened there is they were trying to get it out on a quick screen route. One of the things that happened is Brandon Hayward came up a little kind of sore on that last catch that he had. He came out, and so did Brian Kelly. Both of those two were out on that play, so you had some of the personnel issues there that, you hate the extra effort turnover there, but, Xavier just kept fighting for more and more yardage.
Cooper on the recovery and return. Now the Wildcat defense, once again, they've been out there a while here in the second half. First down, 10 yards to go. Karns, a lot of the fans getting the foul out of the Karns High School facility here. Bishop gets the handoff, gets the snap, and gets down. He's tackled nicely there by Jaden Williams. It'll be really no gain on the play, but the Wildcats moving the ball, another turnover, and you just can't have turnovers. They were down 14. The clock definitely now in the Beavers' favor.
In the Beavers' favor, and they're going to run their offense to where they are just going to kill the clock and try to run it with, I believe, Lockhart and obviously Bishop, their main guy, who's had a great night tonight. And the Wildcats, if they're going to have a shot in this, got to bow their back up and try to get a turnover here and start ripping the ball out. Second
down, 9 yards to go. 5:19 to play in the ball game. 42-28. It was all Karns here after the first quarter. Here's Bishop getting the handoff. Bishop outside, looking for running room, cutting back inside, and down he goes at around the 25-yard line. And that should be enough for a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. Well, first down for the Empress. Let's see where they actually spot it. They've already signaled first down. I don't see any flags. It is going to be first down, 10 yards to go. Bishop is a fantastic player.
Yeah, and just a patient runner as well. You know, he had it stuffed there, continued outside, got behind one of his blocks and made a few moves there. And looked like the play was stopped for maybe no gain or maybe a short loss there, but he ends up getting about 8 yards.
4:43 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats will fall to 2-2 in the region. We'll need a big victory over Campbell County. Actually, the quarterback's now running. He got plummeled, knocked down pretty good at the 21-yard line. Took a hard shot, Bourbon there on the stop, but precious time is ticking down. This Oak Ridge team is really struggling this year. They're going to be fall to 2-6 on the year. Wildcats have Dobbins Bennett next week, so it doesn't get any easier. Then they've got to beat Campbell County.
You got to beat Campbell County. Region is most important at this point. And, winning this game would have put them in great position. There's still time on the clock, so there's still a chance. But, Campbell County is a really important game as well.
Obviously, it is for sure, and that'll be the last game of the year. The Wildcats, with this loss, probably will not get a home playoff ball game. So if playoffs, as that coach for the Colts said one time, playoffs, we really just need to concentrate on getting better as a football team. I think they're going to make the playoffs with a victory over Clinton and over Lenore City, but obviously they're gonna have to. I don't know. I don't know that I've seen an Oak Ridge team struggle the way this team has, especially offensively. And I talked about it at halftime. There's a lot of skill guys on this team, but you just cannot have your linemen go both ways the whole game, offense and defense, and expect really to just play standard, just stellar ball. The Wildcats have lost so many linemen, especially. The Wildcats do have skill guys. I keep saying that, and people keep saying, well, Oak Ridge is fast, they should win. Wildcats, they just don't have enough depth at the line position, and you win ball games at the line of scrimmage. Most knowledgeable football fans know that, and that's really, tonight's a little different story, but you just got to figure fatigue has got to be with these guys, especially on the line.
Yeah, and your starting three defensive linemen, Zach Snyder, Ethan Hewitt, and J.K. Morgan are all starters on the offensive line, and you can probably, in that type of defense, have one or two guys do that and rotate some other guys in, but not all three for sure.
Bishop gets the pitch, and he is tackled hard across the way there. The Wildcats there still playing hard. Oak Ridge's Jacob Irvin, you can always count on Jacob to play hard. And the other guys were playing hard too. They just have got to be dead tired. It's 3rd and 4, down to 3.5 minutes to play in the game.
Yeah, and the Wildcats are just going to have to come up with a stop here. I think honestly, Karns is going to be in 4-down territory. They're going to try to keep the ball, if not for the rest of the game, until they try to score. And then Wildcat defense, really all that's going to help them here is some type of turnover for a touchdown.
That'd be a nice long fumble return here. Quarterback's going to hand it off to Bishop. Bishop is going to be hit, and the Wildcats need to call a timeout right here. They need to stop the clock with 3 minutes to play here, but they're going to let the clock tick a little bit longer. You can always stop the clock on offense by throwing the ball out of bounds. You got to use your timeouts on defense. As we're down to 2:50 to play here, it's going to be 4th down and about 3.
And I think Karns, as you see, their offense is just going to stay out on the field, try to pick it up, and it's a great scenario to do so because if you don't, the Wildcats are going to – if you don't get it, the Wildcats are going to start at their own 20-yard line. If you do get it, your drive is just going to continue.
We're down to 2:28 to play here. The Wildcats down 42-28. And once again, quarterback hands it to Bishop and flags are down. 2:19 to play. I'm really, and I'm surprised they didn't use a timeout right there because you can stop the clock on offense by, spiking it, going out of bounds. But on defense, the clock is just going to run and run and run.
Yeah, and it looks like Karns is going to be penalized there. Maybe some type of illegal motion or false start or something like that. But I absolutely agree with you. I think the Wildcats have too. I haven't been keeping track of that personally, but, that will help conserve some time, hopefully, on offense for you to, maybe launch a comeback like we did against Farragut and have a chance to give ourselves a chance to win at the end.
It's going to be 4th down, 8 yards to go. They have been at their best when it's been 3rd and long, and now it's 4th down and 8 yards to go. 2:19 to play in the ball game, 42-28. With a lot of fans hitting out of Karns here. Feel sorry for these guys. They've played hard. Lockhart to pass. He's in trouble. He breaks away, gets into the secondary, and down he goes. The Wildcats will take over on downs. Bourbon finally gets him down. The Wildcats get a stop on defense, but there's only 2:10 to play. You got to score on this first down play. You let Hayden use that great arm of his and hit Hayward in stride, score, get an onside kick, recover it, take it down and score, go for 2, win the ball game, and go 3-1 in the region. I don't know if that's going to happen here, but that's what I'd like to see happen. I just want to see the Wildcats continue to fight here and see what they can do in the final 2:10.
Yeah, and those big chunk plays, you need to get a few of those to start the drive, if not score on the first one. The line, you just got to tell them you got so many plays left. You got to block for them and block all of them.
Hayden Tarwater back in at quarterback there. And he's looking for somebody. I guess he didn't see exactly what he wanted. He's going to drop back to pass. Fires a pass. It's going to be caught. And moving the ball forward, the catch is made out to Elijah Rogers. Under 2 minutes to play in the ball game. It's going to be a gain on the play. You know, Hayden just doesn't have a lot of time to get that deep pass off, but they've got to do that.
Got to do that, and they're going to start teeing off and trying to blitz because they got a 2-score lead here, maybe get another type of turnover, and, offensive line just got to step it up.
Gain of 8 on the play. Tarwater rolls to right. He's going to look to throw it deep down the field. Passes. Oh, almost caught by Elijah Rogers at the 35-yard line on a deflection. It was hit. There were several blue shirts down there. Might have gone off of Jai Hunley's hands, but then there was Elijah Rogers who almost caught it on a deflection, and he might have turned and taken it into the end zone. It's going to be 3rd and 2.
Yeah, that was almost just the old tip drill on offense this time, though. You had Lockhart there that was defending Hunley. Hunley actually tipped it up, and Rogers had a shot at it, and I just don't think he was prepared for the ball to come that direction toward him.
3rd down, 2 yards to go. 90 seconds to play in the ballgame. Karns trying to beat Oak Ridge for only the 2nd time ever. Handoff goes for the first down as the Wildcats move it forward. Kendall Jackson does pick up the 10-back first down.
Yeah, and not necessarily a terrible call there to pick up the first down. I think in that scenario, the Wildcats call a timeout, and maybe you just try to get up and go quick or try to spike it to conserve the down in time.
We'll have a scoring summary. Mike Sheehan will do that for us. Mark and Shauna will do the honors for the stats here, and I guess, James, you'll go down and talk to Coach Gaddis. You know, this game was looking so promising. It was 21-7 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats were doing whatever they wanted to do on offense. They were throwing the ball down the field, and then all of a sudden, Bishop just got wild, and he's close to 300 yards on the game, and the Wildcats just all of a sudden their offense just stopped. They just couldn't get yardage. Turnovers. We had 2 interceptions. We had a big fumble just a moment ago when the Wildcats were going in. So you just can't have turnovers. Last week they were turnover free, but this Karns team, they have a lot to play for. They have not beaten Oak Ridge in 25 years. And tonight that's going to change, though, I think.
Well, and you're playing for second in the region as well, and it's playing for a home playoff game. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Karns has ever had a home playoff game. I'm sure they may have at some point, but not really in recent history.
Not in a long time. They've struggled to even have winning records here at Karns, but not this year. This is a good Karns team led by a really, really fine player, and their quarterback's pretty good too. Here comes the Wildcats on reverse. Elijah Rogers is going to throw it deep. Hayward's the man. Pass is going to be incomplete. Not a bad-looking play, just underthrown. Just Rogers tried to deliver the pass, but once again, there were 3 blue shirts. It was intended for Brandon Hayward. 1:18 to play. The Wildcats down 42-28. The Wildcats were up 21-7, James.
Yeah, and it's been really Karns getting on a roll there. The Wildcats had the turnover right before half that allowed Karns to get a little bit of momentum. The Wildcats got to stop there at the goal line. We were hoping that would be a little bit of change of pace here, but the Wildcats really just hadn't been able to capitalize on their offensive possessions in the second half.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Hayden Tarwater fires a pass, incomplete. I think he thought Elijah Rogers was going to be in a different area. I think Vontae Henderson, the receivers coach, a little bit upset at his receiver. It'll be 3rd down, 10 yards to go. 1:13 to play in the ballgame. 42-28. I'd like to thank Andy
Hudson.
I was going to say something else. Andy Hudson. We got Parker Free here with us as well, doing our camera work up top. It's not easy doing camera work from the stands. There's only about 6 or 8 rows here, so not too high. Tarwater launches it down the way. Hayward leaps and can't come down with it. 1:07 to play. It'll be 4th down, 10 yards to go. They're just dropping everybody back, and you know you're going to go either to Hayward. You got to figure out a way. But Karns, this is maybe the best Karns team I've seen. Obviously, they're going to win this ball game, but this is maybe the best Karns team I can remember seeing, really. Even better than that 85 team that beat Oak Ridge.
Yeah, and the Wildcats just don't have very much time, and Hayden really doesn't have enough time to set his feet here in the last couple downs to be able to drive the football downfield.
4th down, 10 yards to go. He's going to roll. Look to pass across the way. Pass is caught, and that's going to be a 1st down, I believe, for Elijah Rogers. He's going to go down at the 45-yard line. 55 seconds to play. The clock is stopped there. It'll be a 10-bank of Oak Ridge 1st down. So nice pass that time. Hayward right in the middle of the field there.
Yeah, it was a really cool play by Hayden as he just flipped his hips and kind of sidearmed the ball out there into Rogers, who was running a drag route across the middle. So it's a really cool play that you like to see here, but you want to see the Wildcat offense pick it up a little bit.
41 seconds to play here, and Hayden spikes the ball, and that stops the clock with 38 seconds. 38 seconds to play here. 42-28 the score. Oak Ridge trailing here at Karns High School. As I mentioned, the Wildcats have beaten this team 25 straight times. Dating all the way back to 1985, the Wildcats 32-1 all time, but Karns wants a home playoff game, and it looks like they're going to get it.
It does look like they're going to get it, David.
Tarwater to pass, quick pass to Hayward. He makes the catch, picks up a 1st down and more, moves the ball down to the Karns 33-yard line. That's a 1st down. The clock is stopped with 30 seconds to play. Wildcats are going to have to quickly get up to the line. They've got to move the chains down. 30 seconds to play. You still got, as long as there's time on the clock, you still have time here. Once again, ball's at the 33-yard line, 25 seconds. You got to take a shot to the end zone. Quick pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Stops the clock with 20 seconds to play. I think you got to take a shot to the end zone here.
Yeah, you got to take a shot because the last couple plays have gotten you in a good position. You're at the 35-yard line. Hayden's got the arm to get it there. We saw that in the Farragut game. You'd love to see it here.
Yeah, if he throws an interception, James, he throws an interception. What do you have to lose here? You might get a score here. It'll be 2nd down, 10 yards to go. He's going to look. No place to go. Now he's going to run. Now he's going to crank it into the end zone. Brandon Hayward, incomplete. 13 seconds to play. The Wildcats are going to be defeated by the Karns Beavers. So the Knoxville News Sentinel was right. The Wildcats are going to be defeated. The score is not quite what they said, but yeah, a tough game. You know, both of these 2 games have come during fall break. I don't know if that has any. I'm trying to think of excuses here. I know you're out of a kind of a routine. I'm not saying that Karns wanted it badly. Obviously, they wanted a home playoff game. I thought the Wildcats have been fighting hard, but depth is such an issue with this team. You know, and it's just a factor. And I sound like I'm making excuses, and I am, honestly. As Hayden's going to drop back to pass, 10 seconds, rolls to right, got to throw it into the end zone. Pass is caught by Jai Hunley, breaks a tackle, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. Wildcats score with 2 seconds to play. Hunley takes it across, and Oak Ridge trails by a score of 42-34. So Wildcats will bring the extra point unit into the game. Wildcats down 42-34. A very exciting ball game. And Efren to attempt the extra point. There's only 2 seconds left. The Wildcats extra point is up, and it is good.
The kick is good. Your new score.
You really don't have time to recover an onside kick and get a playoff. You've got to score on the onside kick, and I don't know how you pop that up to maybe somebody who catches it or who hits it on a deflection. I don't know what you do to do that. But there's only 2 seconds. You just don't have enough time, even if you recover the onside kick. Parker, do you agree?
Or you put Hunley over here and just kick it deep and try to make him go run and catch it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can possibly think of too. The Wildcats in a 42-35 ball game here. That was Parker Free, by the way. James is headed down to the sideline here. Mike, tough night here for the Wildcats here, down 42-35.
Yeah, this has just been a tough loss, David. Hey, the Wildcats do not quit. You got to love the way this team plays. I mean, they're going for everything they got. 2 seconds left, and they score, to make it a one touchdown game. It's not really over. We could kick an onside kick and recover it and run it back for a touchdown. But, the odds are pretty slim. But this has been a really good football game to watch.
It has been, except the result is not going to be what Wildcat fans would like here. Wildcats have gotten a lot of onside kicks here, but there's only 2 seconds, and they're down 42-35. It's going to be Gabe Weber, and he's the guy that got 2 against Farragut. But like I said, there's just no time. As soon as a Beaver touches this ball, the clock is going to start, and the game is going to end. They're going to line up just about everybody, a lot of people on the right side. Gabe's going to line up on the near side, and here comes the onside kick. It's a hard kick. He's bounded in. There it is. It's going to be fielded with 1 second. No time on the clock. Congratulations. The Karns Beavers have defeated the Oak Ridge Wildcats by a final score of 42-35, and the celebration begins on the field for the Karns Beavers. The first time since 1985, they have tasted a victory over the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats. They did it at Old Karns Field, their first ever win here on this field over Oak Ridge, only their second win ever. The Wildcats lead the series 32-2, a huge region win for the Karns Beavers. And the Wildcats' playoff hopes of getting a home playoff ball game probably dashed now. Now, obviously, they got Dobbins-Bennett next week in a non-region ball game, but the Campbell County game really comes into big forefront right now to get a playoff ball game.
That's literally a must-win game now, David, after tonight. It's just a shame the Wildcats couldn't get it in there more often than they did tonight, but you can't say from lack of trying. I'll tell you what, Deshaun Bishop is everything they say he is, David. He is an outstanding athlete. There's no doubt he's a phenom. This year particularly, he may win a national title the way he's running the ball right now. He does lead the nation in rushing, or did up until tonight, and I don't think he did anything tonight to hurt himself, as Mark Case will tell us here in just a little bit exactly how many yards he did get. The last time I heard he had 271 yards, but he carried the ball 4 or 5 more times after that, so I know it's more than 271 yards, which is astronomical against the Oak Ridge defense that plays as tough as we do. But, he wasn't just a one-man team either. They had a lot of great plays by their quarterback, and some of their receivers were really good tonight. And, of course, they did a good job blocking, not taking anything away from the Karns Beaver. They are a very good team this year, and they'll be a contender in the playoffs, I'm sure.
You can do the scoring summary.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the scoring summary. First, for the Karns Beaver to start the game off, Deshaun Bishop ran a 6-yard touchdown to take the 6-0 lead. Then Jace Harvey came in for the Karns Beaver and kicked the ball between the uprights, and they led 7-0. But at 8:19, just 2 minutes later, Jai Hunley ran one in for 10 yards out for the Oak Ridge Wildcats, and they trailed 7-6. Then Efren Rodriguez came in. His kick was good, and that game was tied. Then Justin Crowley intercepted a pass on the 45-yard line and put the Wildcats back in business, and Hayden Tarwater threw a 36-yard perfect strike to Brandon Hayward, and the Wildcats went up 13-7. Then Efren Rodriguez came in. The kick was good, and the Wildcats led 14-7. And then in the second quarter, Hayden Tarwater threw an 18-yard pass to Brandon Hayward, and the Wildcats went up 27. Now back to the voice of the Wildcats, David Clary.
Let's go back to James down the field. He's got Coach Gaddis. Take it away, James.
James Branson down here at Karns Field, joined by head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Joe Gaddis. Coach, obviously not the result that you wanted, but still a lot to play for left in the region as you got a big game against next week, real rivalry game, and then obviously Campbell County coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got off a good start tonight. Defense played pretty well in the first half. We didn't tackle great in the first half, but we tackled worse in the second half. And offensively, we played much better early than we did late. But, probably the game was, we're up 21-14, throw an interception. Rather than go up 28-14, we throw an interception early in the second half. They take it and score, kick an onside kick, get it and score. And all of a sudden, instead of potentially 28-14 us, it's 28-21 them, and they kept the momentum after that for the rest of the game, honestly. And we didn't tackle well once they got the ball back.
Coach, a little bit of a short week for the Wildcats. The change to get the game on Thursday night here. Short week to prepare, but a little bit longer week now to prepare for one of Oak Ridge's biggest rivals in Dobyns-Bennett.
We need to regroup and get ready for Dobyns-Bennett. That's always a big game, and it's going to be a big one this year.
Coach, going forward after Dobyns-Bennett, you got Campbell County with another region game, another chance, and I believe you were talking to another reporter. You talked about that's going to be big for playoff seeding, as you said.
Well, it is. It is. I mean, this was big. The winner had a chance to be second. They'll probably be second now, so we're fighting for third at this point, and we won't have a home playoff game, but we're fighting for third, which is obviously better than fourth in the region, and that's our goal.
Coach, I guess we'll speak with you next week on the show on Wednesday, and then obviously on the game after Friday night.
Thank you.
Thank you. David, we will send it back up to you. Very short interview, but we'll send it back to you with the game recap, the scoring summary, and the statistics with Mark and Shauna Haste.
I guess that was a short and sweet interview there. I didn't even realize it was over. Mike, you want to continue on with the scoring summary?
Yeah, I'll continue on with my scoring summary. I left off. I wish we could leave off right here where I stopped, because Hayden Tarwater, the next play at 10:22 into the second quarter, threw a beautiful rainbow pass in the right-hand corner of the end zone for a touchdown, and the Wildcats went up 20-7. Efren Rodriguez again came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats were led by 2 touchdowns, 21-7, early in the third quarter, or the second quarter, excuse me. And then with 3:15 left in the first half, Gavin Duke ran it in from around left end and put the Beavers back on the scoreboard, 13-21. Chase Harvey again for the Beavers kicked it between the uprights, and the Wildcats led 21-14. Then the Wildcats had a tremendous goal line stand with 1 second left to maintain that 21-14 halftime lead. But then the wheels fell off. In the third quarter, Deshaun Bishop ran a 61-yard touchdown run around left end, and it made it 20-21. Then Jace Harvey tied the game up with an extra point, and it was 21-21. And then an onside kick, and the Karns Beavers recovered it. And then with about 2 minutes later, with 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter, Walker Larkhart threw a 53-yard pass to Kason Huffaker, and the Beavers went up 27-21. Chase Harvey then came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Karns Beavers took the lead 28-21. Then with 1 minute and 48 seconds left in the third quarter, the Beavers scored their third touchdown in the third quarter when Deshaun Bishop ran it in from 28 yards out. That put them up 34-21. Jace Harvey's kick was good. The Beavers led 35-21. That wasn't all the scoring for the Wildcats, though. They never gave up. With 9 minutes and 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Hayden Tarwater threw a 4-yard pass to Elijah Rogers into the right-hand corner of the end zone, and the Wildcats were on the board again, 27-35. Efren Rodriguez kicked it between the uprights, and the Wildcats trailed by 7, 35-28. But with 8 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Deshaun Bishop ran one in from 76 yards out to put the Beavers up 41-28, sealing the Wildcat victory. And then Jace Harvey's kick was again good, and the Karns Beavers led the Wildcats 42-28. But the Wildcats were not through. With 2 seconds left, Tarwater threw a beautiful pass to Jalen Hunley from 33 yards out, and the Wildcats again scored 34 points to 42. Efren Rodriguez's kick was good to make the final score 42-35 in favor of the Karns Beavers. It's a really tough loss for the Wildcats. And hopefully we can, redeem ourselves. We've got Kingsport coming in next Friday. Then Friday week, we've got a must-win game against Campbell County. Are you ready, Mark? I'm going to turn the mic back over to Mark Hayes for the stats.
Thank you very much, Mike. As you said, Oak Ridge falls to the Beavers tonight by a final of 42-35. Looking at the first half statistics, first for Oak Ridge, they're led on the ground by Kendall Jackson. He had 43 yards on 7 carries. Jay Hunley had 20 yards on 4 carries. DeJovis Dozier, 6 carries for 13 yards. Elijah Rogers had a 9-yard carry. Hayden Tarwater carried the ball 6 times, totaling 8 yards on the ground. Andrew Ferreira had a 5-yard carry for the Wildcats. And then Xavier James carried the ball 3 times, netting -1 yard. So as a team, the Wildcats rushed the ball 28 times, totaling 97 yards on the ground. Through the air, starting quarterback for the Wildcats, Hayden Tarwater, he was 20 of 31 for 259 yards. He did have 2 interceptions on the night. Elijah Rogers also had an attempt tonight, but it was unsuccessful. Receiving for the Wildcats, they were led by Brandon Hayward. He had 85 yards on 5 receptions. Jay Hunley, 7 completions for 83 yards. Elijah Rogers, 6 completions for 78 yards. Andrew Ferreira had an 8-yard reception, and Xavier James had a 5-yard reception. So as a team, the Wildcats had 97 yards on 28 carries. They had 259 yards on 20 receptions for a total offense tonight of 356 yards. Wildcats accumulated 17 first downs in the ballgame, penalized 4 times, so no penalties in the second half for 27 yards. Now looking at Karns, no surprise here. They were led on the ground by Deshaun Bishop. He had 253 yards on 30 carries. He averaged 8.4 yards per carry. His long tonight was a 76-yard touchdown. Walker Lockhart, 13 carries for 87 yards. That's an average of 6.7 yards per carry. And then Gavin Nuke had a 13-yard reception. So as a team, the Karns Beavers rushed the ball 44 times, totaling 353 yards on the ground. Passing for the Karns Beaver, starting quarterback, Kason Huffaker, he was 2 of 4 for 48 yards. Deshaun Bishop, he had 1 completion for 5 yards. So as a team, the Karns Beavers were 3 of 5 for 53 yards. They did have an interception with Kason Huffaker. Receiving for the Beavers, they were led by Walker Lockhart. He had 47 yards on a reception. Desmond Lockhart had a 5-yard reception, and Deshaun Bishop had a 1-yard reception. So as a team, the Karns Beavers had 353 yards on 44 carries. They had 53 yards on 3 receptions for a total offense tonight of 406 yards. They had 9 first downs in the ballgame, penalized 7 times for 60 yards. So looking at the team side by side, rushing yards, Oak Ridge 97, Karns 353. Through the air, Oak Ridge with 259 yards, Karns 53. Total offense, Oak Ridge 356 total offensive yards, Karns 406. First downs, Oak Ridge had 17, Karns 9. Penalties, Oak Ridge penalized 4 times for 27 yards, Karns penalized 7 times for 60 yards. So as we said, Oak Ridge falls to the Karns Beavers tonight by a final score of 42-35. David?
Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate you and Shauna for doing our stats tonight. Appreciate all our camera guys. What can you say? The Wildcats fall to 2-6. Wildcats have never lost 7 regular season ball games. Wildcats have 2 tough games. Dobbins Bennett next week and the following week against Campbell County. That Campbell County game, as we've been saying now, is a must-win for the Wildcats. I think they'll still make the playoffs, but they've got to beat Campbell County.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's one of the things that Coach Gaddis said very briefly is you got 2 big games coming up. Obviously, Campbell County's a big region game, and the effort and everything that we played with at the first half there. Coach Gaddis said, you just got to carry that over in the second half, and the Wildcats just weren't able to do it tonight.
Let's close it out here. A victorious night here. 36 years ago was the last time that Karns beat Oak Ridge in football. Only the second time ever they do it tonight here. They won in 1985. The Wildcats are now 32-2 all time against them. But tonight's the tough one. 42-35 the final score. Appreciate our camera personnel, except for Neo. Yeah, exactly. Neo Tate being here with us, along with Christian Rosas Rodriguez, along with Matthew Charles, Alex Waraxa, Andy Hudson doing camera work. We had Parker Free up here as well. Our statisticians tonight were Mark and Shauna Hayes. We were assisted as well by Mike Sheehan as usual. And of course our engineer back in the studios of FM 92.7 was Brian Bennett. Once again, the final score here from Karns in this terrible night here. The Wildcats defeated 42-35. For James Branson, this is David Clary. Until next week when the Wildcats host Kingsport Dobbins Bennett. It's not going to get any easier. This is David Clary saying so long, everybody.